from the prettiest little stadium in America, Paulson Stadium, as the Georgia Southern Eagles welcome in the Bulldogs of South Carolina State on ESPN+. So glad you're with us alongside Jared Dank and Whitney Hayworth. I'm Danny Wall. Now that both teams picked up their first win of the year last Saturday, Jared, how does each side continue that momentum this evening?
It's going to come down to who can stay with what works earlier. For SC State, it was running the ball behind a powerful offensive line. For Georgia Southern, it's let it fly, baby. That's what you have to do. Keep that three-step drop and fire over the middle, or let them run down the sides and let it really ride.
That's how the offenses have worked 2 weeks in. Georgia Southern heavy on the pass, while South Carolina State more balanced but rely heavily more on their running game.
And also something else that we're going to have to see is how Georgia Southern can keep it clean with penalties. SC State in the same boat. If you play a clean game, the answer will run out itself.
For more on this matchup, let's send it down to our third member of the broadcast crew, Whitney Hayworth, with more.
Well, Danny, you talked about the offensive production for both teams. When you take a look at it further, of course it starts at the quarterback position. You take a look at Georgia Southern's J.C. French, who earned the nod in fall camp. His accuracy, ability to produce, and make great decisions is what got him the starting position. You take a look at Eric Phoenix for South Carolina State, a Savannah native coming back home for the day, a very cerebral person, as Coach Cherry mentioned. He said he's always had the talent. It's just a matter of him growing and producing and maturing over the years, and he's doing just that. It's going to be a great showing on the offensive side of the ball. It's just which quarterback produces more today.
Thanks, Whitney. We kick things off after the break. Eagles versus Bulldogs coming up next. ESPN Plus, a look at South Carolina State head coach Chennis Berry. Picked up his first official win as head coach last Saturday against the Citadel. As we get ready for this matchup, Jared, what are going to be the keys for each side?
It's going to be about how, for SC State, they can play situational football and play that next play mentality. It doesn't matter if you messed up or if you score a touchdown. How can you affect the next play? For Georgia Southern, disciplined football, protect the football, 3 points of contact, forearm, hands, and into the body. It's going to be about how you can keep the ball safe throughout the course of these 60 minutes.
And you see Eagles head coach Clay Helton talked about the mental toughness of his team. 2,600 miles on the road at Nevada last Saturday. Happy to be back home in Paulson Stadium.
There's no such thing as being away if you're Georgia Southern. You always have fans where you are, but there's no place like Paulson Stadium. Being able to play here in front of these home fans, they're out, they're rowdy. It may have rained a little bit, but these fans are out in full force.
Rain has been on and off throughout the day, but still a bit cloudy here in Statesboro, but the sun is out. The fans are packed inside. We are ready to go inside Paulson. The Bulldogs will get the football to get things going here from the prettiest little stadium in America. And right across the 15 on the return. And DeMarcus Robinson, who wears the number 0 jersey, on the tackle, and we already have our first flag.
Well, it's going to be what I said in the open, keeping things clean. You already got your first little bit of dirty laundry onto the field.
We'll hear from our head referee, Stephen Robinson. So an illegal block in the back will move the Bulldogs back. And we'll get our first look at senior quarterback Eric Phoenix. As Whitney mentioned, Phoenix from Savannah, Georgia, played high school at Windsor Forest, a homecoming for Phoenix. And joining head coach Kenneth Berry, as Phoenix started his career at Benedict College, went to Murray State, now back with Berry at South Carolina State.
And in his time at Benedict, was named All-SIAC quarterback twice and was able to play 28 games, passing for over 4,400 yards in that time.
The Bulldogs will start from the 9-yard line. First down run, left side. That will be taken by Deandra Duhart, leading running back for the Bulldogs.
Deandra Duhart, a big man, 5'10", 215 out of Macon, middle of the state, and a guy that we talked about being a big, big asset on this offense for the Bulldogs.
A gain of 5 on the first down run. 2nd and 5. Phoenix rolling right, throws it away out of bounds. Good coverage there by the Eagles defense. A bit of similarities. The Bulldogs and the Eagles both run a 4-2-5 defense, but some different schematics on each side.
It's going to be about how those front four can get downhill. For Georgia Southern, you're going to have to rely on guys like Tracy Hill. And in the secondary, for once those plays really get going, how can you separate yourself in the back and corner?
That brings out 3rd and 5 from the 14. Empty backfield for Phoenix. Throws, far side, it's caught. Caden High with the reception and a first down for SC State.
Caden High, another one of those explosive guys that Coach Berry was talking about, has that quick play mentality. So far this season, 9 receptions for 98 yards.
After the gain, first down from the 25. The run by Duhart, and the defensive line for the Eagles getting there, led by the linebacker Davon Gilmore.
Big old Davon Gilmore, a guy that can get his hands in to the offensive line that he's blocking, chuck block, and be able to get downhill.
The biggest focus that Coach Berry wants to see from his team overall is to compete for 60 minutes. They did that last week in the win over the Citadel after only competing for 50 minutes, his words, against FAMU 2 weeks ago to start the year.
That 11-point comeback win against Florida Atlantic, something that he said left a bitter taste in his mouth. He wanted to go out and execute against Citadel, and they were able to.
The loss of 1 makes it 2nd and 11. Phoenix dropping back, pressure coming. Mark Stampley gets to him in time.
Mark Stampley, the second on ace. Cornerback blitz, completely abandoned the assignment, was able to run around the outside. No chance for Trey Franklin at right tackle to be able to make the stop. Ran right around him and was able to get him in the backfield.
This is the way the defensive coordinator Brandon Bailey wanted to see the Eagles start compared to the previous 2 weeks against Boise State and Nevada. So a loss of 6. 3rd and 17. 3-man rush. Phoenix scrambling, gets out, dumps it out to High. High will step out at the 23. Brings up 4th down.
Georgia Southern only bringing 3 to rush Phoenix. Obviously down in distance, you want to play it a little bit different. But for Georgia Southern, the ability to keep everybody contained, almost running a QB contain, running 3 deep on the defensive line is going to be something that you see more on those 3rd and long, 4th and long, to see how that continues to show, okay, how is Phoenix going to be able to take that pressure we're going to bring them?
Phoenix got the 6 yards back after losing 6 off the sack by Stampley. Dyson Roberts on the punt. We'll see LV Bunkley Shelton back to return for the Eagles. And Bunkley Shelton, a fair catch at the 50. Great field position for Georgia Southern. How about the coverage there by Georgia Southern? We'll see the Eagles offense when we come back after the break on ESPN+. Back on ESPN Plus, a great stop by the Eagles defense in the opening drive, and now we'll see the Eagles offense led by redshirt sophomore quarterback J.C. French. As Eagles head coach Clay Helton said, the reason why French was named the starting quarterback was the ability to move the ball, produce, and make great decisions throughout the preseason and 2 weeks in.
2 weeks in, he's a guy that's really been able to step up when the opportunity arrives. 565 passing yards this season, and look for that to just continue to expand here as they already start, Georgia Southern does, on the opposite side of the field.
In Bulldogs territory, fair catch was actually caught at the 49. So first down and 10 for the Eagles. 4 receivers set. Tyler Fromm in motion. French hands it off to Jalen White, powering his way up the middle. Expect to see Jalen White get more carries after some unique conditions out in Nevada, and also dealt with an ankle injury early in the first quarter of that game. Even with that nagging injury, he was still able to rush for well over 20 yards on 7 carries, was able to get 2 receptions too. Hurry up offense, White to carry again on second down. That time, not much to go. John Hannibal, the tackle from behind. Brings up 3rd and 5, so no gain that time from White. 4 receivers set. Georgia Southern wants to improve on 3rd downs. 2 of 10 at Nevada last weekend. French back to pass, throws near side, incomplete. LV Bunkley Shelton, the intended receiver, and we have a flag. Jamari Benjamin on the coverage.
It's going to be pass interference on Jamari Benjamin, the senior from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Just let him a little bit of slipping, but still the fact of can't let the receiver fall down. That's going to be an easy PI every single time.
A couple of flags, a second on the Bulldogs already in the opening quarter. A fresh set of downs for the Eagles from the 35-yard line. French throws back, and a pass deep into the end zone, just off. It was Dalen Cobb on a wide receiver pass downfield intended for Derwin Burgess.
Coach Helton drawn into the trick plays here early, said, all right, you want us to pass? We'll double pass it on the same play, but unable to get the man downfield. Watch this throw. Right-handed from Cobb, just out of reach. I'm sure they worked on this all the time so far in practice. Derwin Burgess standing at 5'11". If he was maybe 6'1", you get there. If not, it's just an incomplete pass.
Cobb led the way in receptions last week with 7, now trying to throw the ball as an extra quarterback for the Eagles. Second down following the incompletion. Up the middle is White. Cuts outside and tackled inside the 30.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, being able to get your head downhill, split open those gaps, and run like right through the Red Sea.
Gain of 8 from White. Be 3rd and short. That's what offensive coordinator Ryan Applin wanted to see from his offense, along with Clay Helton. Have better first and second down conversions to make 3rd and short. French rolling near side, going to keep it. He'll get the first down.
Going back to the ways of old for Georgia Southern with a quarterback keeper, and it doesn't matter how many guys you're going to have on that outside. Georgia Southern going with the heavy set, having 2 more offensive linemen or tight ends on that far, or that near side, I should say, and be able to create that gap and keep chucking and get those chains moving.
The Eagles have been known for their air raid offense in the Clay Helton era. And even right now to start the year, only averaging 90 yards on the ground. Fresh set of downs. French on play action, throwing, and the pass is caught and out at the last second. Another close ball for Burgess.
One of the big things for Georgia Southern is going to be how they play the ball in the air. Something that Georgia Southern needs to keep doing is doing that. Just keep attacking those cornerbacks at SC State. French had that 3-step drop. It was almost an RPO. It was an RPO actually, but unable to complete it.
How about the coverage from the cornerback Gerard Washington for the Bulldogs?
Great coverage, able to stay home till the last second.
On second down, French back to pass again. Has a man across the middle. It's Tyler Fromm. Fromm stays on his feet inside the 15. Another is indeed another first down for Georgia Southern.
Tyler Fromm, the big man from Warner Robins, 6'5", 230, and he is every bit of it.
One of the newcomers for the Eagles, a transfer from Auburn. The last name Fromm may sound familiar. The brother of Jake Fromm, quarterback, University of Georgia. Eagles in the red zone. First down from the 13, empty backfield. French throws, Fromm, touchdown Eagles.
First touchdown of the season for Tyler Fromm, and for him, that's got to be the monkey off his back, just trying to get open all these plays. And for J.C. French saying, hey, it worked earlier, let's go right back to it. Wide open on the G in the Eagles end zone for 6.
Fromm had only 2 receptions entering this game, 2 receptions on the Eagles' opening drive, resulting in a touchdown. 8 plays, 49 yards in just over 3 minutes. PAT is good by Gavin Stewart. A 7-0 start for the Eagles, 8:36 to play in the opening quarter. More to come after the break on ESPN+.
French able to roll out, buy time, and wide open is Fromm. That's maybe the easiest 6 points he'll see, but we'll see you after the break here on ESPN+.
around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
The 12-team college football playoff is here. The first round kicks off on campus December 20th. From there, the playoff continues in a bracket format, culminating with the national championship game on January 20th, only on ESPN.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Back on ESPN Plus, a 7-0 start for Georgia Southern over South Carolina State. A 13-yard pass from J.C. French to Tyler Fromm. This is familiar. Head coach Dennis Berry spent his college days at Savannah State, and the Eagles and the Tigers faced off a lot back in the early to mid-90s. And Coach Berry talked about the experiences that he had playing against Georgia Southern, talked about how the atmosphere was always electric inside Paulson. And you take a look at some of the dimensions of Paulson Stadium in that video from 91. A big upgrade from 1991 to 2004 today, Jared.
Well, everybody has been pouring so much love into this stadium, not only for fans, but from an athletic standpoint, just to make sure that these facilities are top-notch. All these fans pouring in. Yeah, it rained a little bit, but these Paulson faithful are here in full force.
Whitney Hayworth has more on Coach Berry's time with the Tigers.
Well, Danny, I know that Coach Berry will be super excited to know that he did not make the cut in those highlights in the worst way. When he was talking to us earlier this week, he talked about how he went to cover the ball on that punt, and when the play was over, he was at the same yard line when he started. He said, they buried me into the ground, and I still ain't got up. He said it was quite the welcome to college football. He said, I don't have many great memories in Paulson Stadium, more nightmares, so let's see if he can create great memories today.
On first down, Eric Phoenix bouncing outside. Negative play there by the Bulldogs. And that experience from Coach Berry, he gave to his team entering today's matchup. He mentioned how playing in Paulson is just a different experience, the amazing atmosphere. This is the third straight road game for the Bulldogs. In the first 2 weeks, FAMU and Citadel, great atmospheres, but he said there is nothing like playing in Paulson.
There really isn't. You talk about an environment that is breathing down your throat as an opposition. If you're not wearing blue, you might as well go ahead and get on out.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Phoenix dumps it out near side. This is KZ Adams who works his way across the 30.
KZ Adams, a junior out of West Columbia, South Carolina, 5'8", 188. A guy who's small in stature but very elusive. Watch us able to make the one-man miss, and then he gets cleaned up by another pair of Eagles.
Adams also knows Georgia Southern very well, a transfer from Georgia State, a Sun Belt rival for Georgia Southern. Gain of 6 for Adams. That brings up 3rd and 5. Empty backfield. Phoenix. Near side throw has Caden High. How about High juking his way for extra yards? And gets a first down for the Bulldogs.
And High right now charping up the sideline for SC State, saying, all right, they can't cover me. Made not 1, not 2, but 3 men miss. And obviously other players on this SC State team going to make an impact. DeAndre Duhart, we've seen him a little bit, but yet to get things going. And on defense also for SC State, Dathan Peterson, a guy who flies to the ball like no other.
You 16 to 1 for Georgia Southern. Marquez Watson Trent on the defensive side, and Dalen Cobb tried to be QB1 out there. Fresh set of downs, Latrell Bullard tearing down DeAndre Duhart. How about the big body of 6'1", 360-pound junior Latrell Bullard?
The big man saying, oh, you're not going that much farther. Grabs him, slings him down, and says, oh, no, sir, we're not doing that again.
Defensive coordinator Brandon Bailey made an emphasis to challenge the D-line. They've made some big plays, but want them to do more. A loss of 1 on the run by Duhart. Second down. Phoenix taking a shot deep downfield. Incomplete, intended for Justin Smith-Brown. Another flag on the play.
Smith-Brown was wide open. I think if Phoenix just puts a little bit less on that, that's in the bucket, and that's 6 points for SC State. So it'll be offsides on Georgia Southern, a free 5 yards for SC State. We'll see how maybe they play it now second and short instead of second and long.
Second and 5. Phoenix keeps, dumped it out far side, has Keyshawn Toney down the sideline, still working, and gets tackled at the 31. How about the recovery from South Carolina State on their second drive?
What it really is South Carolina State taking what Georgia Southern's giving them, running that delayed handoff, quick pass. Watch this, able to go just whoop right over the top, and for Toney, able to turn his head, the big grad student, able to get up and turn some positive yards.
A gain of 27, Phoenix throwing near side, incomplete on first down. Intended for Ianaj Carter, the East Tennessee State transfer.
And one of the things I've been noticing for Phoenix, as a lefty, the ability for him to throw on the run is something that Georgia Southern's going to have to keep in check. That ability to, as per the offensive coach for SC State, just being able to say, okay, he plays just like Lamar Jackson, having that ability to run and keep things going. When plays break down, he can step up.
Second and 10. Phoenix pass deflected. Isaac Walker, another D lineman for Georgia Southern, getting it done.
Isaac Walker, 6'2", 235, guy that has big wings for these Eagles and able to bat that ball down almost like a block in football, saying, not in my house.
So you're already seeing the D line make some big stops.
And he really did. He just said, oh, nope, you're not going to get that little flick pass over me. Not going to happen. We'll set up third down.
Coach Bailey said the better the D-line gets, the more the overall defense plays at a higher level. Third and 10 from the 30. Phoenix, pressure coming from Marquez Watson Trent. Gets it out. Pass is caught by High. High juking his way inside the 25. Taken down at the 24.
And that's, again, what I was talking about, that ability to scramble. Whenever you have Marquez Watson Trent breathing down your neck and you're still able to deliver a dot, that's talking about being resilient. And for High, he's able to keep going, churn his feet, and eventually gets cleaned up by Chance Gamble, the redshirt junior from Fitzgerald.
So we'll see the field goal unit for the first time for the Bulldogs, a 41-yard attempt for Kyle Gallegos. 1 of 2 against the Citadel last weekend. Gallegos missed it. Dinked off the side post.
Gallegos unable to clear it through the uprights and couldn't execute. Goes from being 3 for 4, now 3 for 5 on the season.
Eagles back on offense when we come back.
As a musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
The 12-team college football playoff is here. The first round kicks off on campus December 20th. From there, the playoff continues in a bracket format, culminating with the national championship game on January 20th, only on ESPN.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations, and from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Momentum from South Carolina State, but a missed field goal from 41 yards by Kyle Gallegos. As you see, head coach Shennis Berry, first year for the Bulldogs, and continuing the same success that he had at Benedict, the two-time SIAC champion, and brought a lot of players, 14 total from Benedict, to continue that success and that leadership for this Bulldogs program.
And he said it was hard to do it. First off, you have to not only convince the players that are transferring from Benedict to SC State, you have to convince the players that are already at SC State to buy into that process. It starts with taking this book called Chop Wood, Carry Water by Joshua Metcalf, talking about embrace the process and take it to be successful.
Georgia Southern will get the ball at the 24-yard line. Overall for South Carolina State, along with the 14 Benedict transfers, 40 newcomers overall for this Bulldogs team. Play action, French rolling right. French will takes a shot as he runs out of bounds. Under 5 minutes to go, in the opening quarter. Eagles a 7-0 lead off the pass from French to Tyler Fromm.
And French able to show his legs that time. So far on the year coming into this game, 19 attempts, 38 yards. He does have one rushing touchdown as well.
Gain of 2. The Eagles winning the running game right now. French gonna wind up and throw it deep, too far for his intended target. Was looking for Jet Thompson. Similar play that we saw at Nevada last week that resulted in a 35-yard touchdown for Jet.
This time just unable to really roll it in. About 5 or 10 yards too long. You see the little bit of waving hands, maybe not the best route for Jet, but still able to clean it up, and you get 3rd down and long now.
How about that cannon? How about a 50-yard throw from French?
Easily, and he didn't even have to step up.
3rd and 8. French feels the pressure, has to get it away, and does. How about the response for the Bulldogs forcing a 3 and out?
Whenever you have a miscue on the special team side for SC State, you have to say, okay, how can my defense step up? And they were able to do that. Get a quick 3 and out, get your offense back out there and see if you can execute.
So we'll see the punt team for the first time. And Alex Smith, he can boot it deep. Had 6 punts last weekend, average 40 yards.
And watch the hang time on this punt.
Fair catch call by Ianaj Carter. Back at the 21-yard line.
A little bit of chippiness.
Directionally 27, and we'll see the Bulldogs offense make their way back out. And running back, DeAndre Duhart. The coaching staff for South Carolina talked about how even though in the FCS he plays like a D1 running back, just plays the game with reckless abandonment.
And that's what you have to do as a running back. You have to have that head down mentality, watch for your gaps to open up, and absolutely get downhill. No false step on that off foot, just getting straight down and putting his head where it needs to go.
Under 4 to play in the first quarter. First down, Phoenix rolling and throws the high. Caden High has been the primary target offensively for Phoenix throughout the opening quarter.
And it's a good reason for him to be able to keep going back to what's working. Just talking about that little bit of an off throw, able to run an out route was High and just get right along the sideline. Nothing too crazy, but still enough to be able to make it second and short.
That is High's 5th reception in the quarter, 40 yards total. Second and 1. Duhart gets out of trouble. Powers his way through, gets the first down, tackled at the 40.
Duhart, like we talked about, that ability to bounce off one hit, keep going, keep churning your legs. Took one hit from Georgia Southern, another hit, and then was able to be tackled, but not before picking up the first down.
The definition of a power back. Duhart, 6 foot, 215 pounds. Almost a similar build to the Eagles' Jalen White. Fresh set of downs. Phoenix throwing, almost intercepted, goes out of bounds. Tracy Hill Jr. was close.
A little bit of miscommunication. Ionaj Carter, the senior from New York, was running a curl route, and I believe that Phoenix was thinking he was going to run a go route down the sideline, and a little bit of miscommunication ends up not costing the Bulldogs right here.
Second down. Duhart, the carry, breaking multiple tackles. A big gain, 3 yards. Whitney Hayworth has more on the junior Duhart.
Well, Danny, Coach Barry told us that DeAndre doesn't talk a lot, but by goodness does he play his game with reckless abandonment. And his coordinators also seconded that. He said he's the only married player on our roster, and the maturity that comes along with marriage is showing and then relaying over to his teammates.
Thanks, Whitney. You talk about Duhart getting married as well. Third down, Phoenix throws near side, has High across midfield, walks out at the 44. Going back to Duhart, along with Duhart being married and has that maturity, he also has a small business cleaning cars and detailing.
Talk about a guy that can do it all. Not only are you managing the classroom, managing a marriage, and managing being a college athlete. A man that can do it all.
Goes back to what Coach Barry said, how Duhart is an unbelievable person. Bulldogs moving in Eagles territory from the 43 on first down. Duhart up the middle, correction. Adams there on the run. Brings up second and short.
KZ Adams, the guy that we haven't really seen a whole lot of so far this season. 19 rushes, 75 yards. Was able to get one out of the backfield too for an 8-yard reception.
Gain of 8. Approaching the final minute of the first quarter. Ooh. Free play for the Bulldogs. Phoenix goes deep. And you saw there the brief jump by Isaac Walker. That's going to move the Bulldogs forward 5 yards for a first down.
And that's something that for Georgia Southern, you can't do that. You have a chance to make it third and short.
Automatic first down.
And since that penalty was more than 5 yards, for those keeping track at home, that'll be enough for a first down. And to keep this drive going for SC State, those penalties can be costly for Georgia Southern while it's still a game that's early and only a 1-point score or 1-score game.
The Eagles drew 10 penalties last weekend at Nevada. First down from the 30. Phoenix floats it. Near side, Justin Smith. A correction, Keyshawn Toney. Got taken out there. Wow, once again, another big play for the Bulldogs.
It's a big play, but you know how hard it is to set up a successful running back screen to be able to get that out of the backfield for Tony. And while it was a tight end screen, it's the exact same setup with having to let those offensive linemen get out there, create that space, then go after it. Good yards after catch for Tony and able to move the chains again.
Bulldogs in the red zone. Play clock at 6. Adams gets inside the 10. And that's how we'll end the first quarter. The Bulldogs rolling on this drive, but Georgia Southern a 7-0 lead through the first quarter. Second quarter coming up after the break on ESPN+.
Musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the Patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
College football playoff is here. The first round kicks off on campus December 20th. From there, the playoff continues in a bracket format, culminating with the national championship game on January 20th, only on ESPN.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
7-0 start for Georgia Southern as we welcome you back on ESPN+. However, the Bulldogs are driving right now. 9 plays so far on the drive. This is the first game this season that the Bulldogs unable to score in the first quarter.
And they missed it by a matter of inches, getting that field goal to dink off the upright. And now they have a chance to hopefully get into the end zone this time.
That was one of the keys that the Eagles wanted to establish. Had some trouble in their first 2 games against Boise State and Nevada, giving up points early.
One of the big things I want to see Georgia Southern do is just continue to do what they're doing. Stay home and make sure that Phoenix is able to just feel that pressure every play. Whether you're bringing 4, bringing 5, bringing 3, just make sure the pressure is up.
This will be the 10th play of the Bulldogs drive. It'll be 2nd and 5 from the 7. Bulldogs want to capitalize after this field goal from Gallegos. Phoenix, hand off to Duhart. Duhart powering his way inside the 5 will be short. It'll be 3rd and short for the Bulldogs.
Duhart with an off-tackle run, trying to get downhill, being able to just keep those feet churning, keep churning, and eventually tackle down by a host of Eagles.
3rd and 2 from the 5. Duhart in the running back position. We've seen some trick plays from the Bulldogs. A tight end screen from Keyshawn Toney. Some runs from KZ Adams. Here, Duhart. And he gets brought back at the end by Walker. Will he have enough for a first down? He will not. No gain, rather a gain of 1.
But that 1 is not going to be enough. And if you're SC State here, they're staying on the field. I completely support this. You want to go with what's been working, run the ball and keep chopping wood.
The Bulldogs got a 4th down conversion last week against the Citadel. Phoenix to Duhart. He gets the first down and into the end zone. Touchdown Bulldogs.
And why not stick with what's working? First rushing touchdown of the year for DeAndre Duhart, being able to pick back up where he left off. Yeah, it's 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, but that is what's doing it right now for SC State. That continual downhill mentality gets them in the end zone.
Goes back to what Coach Berry said about Duhart being powerful, elusive, doesn't say much, just give me the ball, I'll do the rest. A 12-play drive for South Carolina State. 73 yards downfield, over 5 minutes off the clock. Gallegos connects on the PAT, and we're tied at 7.
Something that you don't see a whole lot of against Georgia Southern is that big gathering in the box and just running right downhill. Duhart having to use the tripod, keeping one arm up. I'm not going down until I say so. Dragging Eagles into the end zone. And for SC State, that's how you respond after a empty possession with a field goal missed. You go down and say, fine, we'll do it ourselves. Let's score this touchdown right now, and they were able to do that.
Bulldogs want to change things in the series against the Eagles. Georgia Southern unbeaten against South Carolina State, going back almost 40 years ago in 1985.
And that's a long time, too. A lot of head coaches in this rivalry. I mean, I guess you could call it a rivalry. It's only 100 miles. It's almost a backyard brawl, while this is still the rivalry week for a lot of these college football teams. This is no different. A team that you've seen a lot, and another one that you'll be seeing a lot more of in the future.
We're seeing what head coach Dennis Berry wanted to see from his team. He said, I want them to compete for 60 minutes. Yes, you have that atmosphere being in Paulson Stadium, but also have fun. It's football, and you're seeing that from SC State.
He said it doesn't matter if you're playing in the backyard or playing under the bright lights. Let's have some fun.
DeAndre Buchanan takes it from the 9. Buchanan tackled at the 35. So we'll see the Eagles offense back out, led by J.C. French. What needs to change in this series for the Eagles?
I think Georgia Southern needs to establish one front of their game, either on the air side or on the ground side. You need to have at least 6 or 7 plays that are positive, positive, positive.
Right now, the Eagles just 42 yards overall on offense. Jet sweep on first down. Dalen Cobb absorbing tackles. Brought down at the 39.
Step in the right direction. Just trying to keep going, keep that clock moving, and keep possession in your favor. Josh Dallas that time went a little bit in the way, getting blown up on the play, and he ended up almost tackling his own receiver.
Quick pass, and there is Dallas on the reception. Inside the 30, breaks outside, down the sideline, to the end zone. Did he make it? No, was taken out at the 2, but a great response for Josh Dallas, the redshirt sophomore.
Josh Dallas able to make up. He said, okay, my fault. Let me run a delayed slant over the middle, wide open, and Georgia Southern going to try and capitalize on the momentum.
A 58-yard pass from French to Dallas. Eagles in the red zone. O.J. Arnold, rather a fake to Tyler Fromm. And Fromm out at the 1.
Fromm trying to get his second touchdown of the game on a little bit of a hook pass, unable to connect and find the end zone. That's what I was talking about earlier. You asked me what needs to happen. A big splash play like that is what the Eagles needed.
Second down at the 1 as Fromm was short. French lined up under center. Jalen White at running back. Caleb Cook as the fullback. White, open field, touchdown Eagles.
Touchdown number 4 on the season for Jalen White. That one probably the easiest. Whenever you have a big old offensive lineman in the backfield and Caleb Cook, 315 pounds, there's nothing better than following behind your big old blocker.
Just left a wide opening for White to find the end zone, and a quick response for the Eagles. Just 4 plays, 65 yards downfield, less than 90 seconds on the clock. PAT good by Gavin Stewart. Eagles back up 14-7.
For Georgia Southern, I talked about the ability to get that big play, and for Dallas, he's able to get wide open behind all the cornerbacks. Green grass saying, where's my defender? Where's my defender? I got to keep going, keep going. Look at this hawk down by the defense for SC State, able to get brought down, and Georgia Southern not being denied as a big run by the captain, Jalen White, able to put it in for 6.
Musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
College football playoff is here. The first round kicks off on campus December 20th. From there, the playoff continues in a bracket format, culminating with the national championship game on January 20th, only on ESPN.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
Back on ESPN Plus, Caden High catches that one inside the 5, and how about special teams tackling inside the 10? Head coach Clay Helton talked a lot about special teams coordinator Turner West and what he's been able to do. You see it right there, and it all started for the Eagles on the previous drive, the pass from J.C. French to Josh Dallas.
That French to Dallas connection just short of getting into the end zone at the 2-yard line, and something that Dallas will probably be wanting, saying, oh my goodness, I was so close. But he knew it, that was the biggest play for Georgia Southern that they needed at a very timely moment. Twin number 2 out of them Dallas boys.
A twin brother of quarterback David Dallas. Bulldogs will start from the 8 on first down. Phoenix screen to High. High working his way forward, gets a couple of yards. That just goes to the Eagles' numerous options in the receiving core. Whitney Hayworth has more.
I apologize, Danny. I'm having some audio issues down here. Can you repeat what you tossed to me?
Yeah, absolutely, Whitney. We're talking about the numerous options that Georgia Southern has in terms of receiving.
Oh, absolutely. You cannot hear enough about the wide receivers from Coach Helton and also Coach Applin. I'm actually standing right behind the wide receivers in this very moment. And what's interesting to see is how all of them, of course, work together. Some teams you'll have one vocal leader, but in Georgia Southern's case, all of them are talking together. And right now, the most interesting thing, of course, is the iPad communication. You can see each different position group down here rehashing the last drive.
Now you see the defense carrying up on top of that. How about that tackle by Davon Gilmore on KZ Adams?
Big time stop.
3rd and 5. Bulldogs 50% on third downs in this match. Duhart at running back. Phoenix. Pressure. Gets it out. Incomplete. And there's that momentum you're seeing. The Eagles touchdown from the offense, momentum to the defense, forcing a 3 and out.
And it's all about how you play that moment. For Georgia Southern, they were able to capitalize. SC State, a 3 and out. And that is something that's going to come back to see, okay, how are you going to step up? For Phoenix, he was unable to get that crossing route over the middle to Smith Brown, and now it's going to come up to a punt.
Roberts back out the punt. Bunkley Shelton back to return. Taken at the 49, sliding at the end. Put the Eagles in great field position from midfield. Chippiness continues out there. It is getting physical inside Paulson Stadium. Eagles back on offense after the break. We're going to sort things out here for a moment, but how about the physicality that we are seeing out there on the field?
I love it. I absolutely love it. The ability to just stay going. Doesn't matter if the whistle's blowing. We're going to keep on fighting. It's a fight night here inside of Statesboro.
The worst part about being a caveman is the upkeep. I'm a hairy guy, but my razor has to.
When you need extra funds, it can feel like you're stuck without many options.
The worst part about being a caveman is the upkeep. I'm a hairy guy, but my razor has to be available 24/7.
Available 24/7? Sounds like Geico's fast and friendly claim service.
Oh, I see. Okay, funny man, why don't you come up here and tell some jokes?
What do you call a gecko who helps with insurance? My hero.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
This is amateur hour.
BK Royal Crispy Wraps. Eat it with the meal or have it as a snack. Only $2.99. It's a hunger hack and it fits in one hand. And BK, have it your way.
I didn't have to spend my life trying to find my calling. Mine found me at an early age. There was no question of what I wanted to be. It was just a matter of how good I could get and how far I would go.
At Ram, our calling is to build trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
From the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, the Ego Power Plus blower, reaching an incredible 765 CFM, and it runs up to 90 minutes on a single charge, exclusively at Lowe's, Ace, and Ego authorized dealers.
What a response from the Eagles defense, looking to close the gap after what has been a challenging first two games of the season against Boise State and Nevada.
Talk about the ability to overcome adversity. Georgia Southern's done exactly that these first two games, and now they're trying to be in the driver's seat here in Game 3.
Almost 300 yards given up 2 weeks in, but today just 24 yards from South Carolina State. How about the reverse from the Eagles on first down? Marcus Sanders breaks the tackle inside the 40. And the way the physicality starting to reach a fever pitch.
And watch this block by J.C. French saying, okay, I got to get outside. I got to get outside. Able to throw up his hands on Ionaj Carter, making one of them big plays to try and get that gap open. A correction, that was on Jaden Broughton, the D lineman who would try to chip in more. But regardless, J.C. French able to pick up a good block.
Gain of 13 for Sanders. First down from the 37 for the Eagles. French finds Sam Kennerson at the 26. A flag behind the line of scrimmage at the 45. And you see Bryson Broadway, the right tackle.
Number 75. Penalty. First down.
Going to get called for holding. Brings the Eagles 10 yards back.
Some habeas corpus there from Bryson Broadway, the big man out of Dawsonville, Georgia. Last season in 23-24, 10 games played, and that time just a mental mistake that negates a big play.
Now it is first down and 20 from the 47. Still an empty backfield for French. Screen to DeAndre Buchanan. Tackled at the 45.
While you're at first and long, that's just a good play to get at least 5 yards back. While it still is a big manageable situation, we've seen those air raid plays, and I think if you're Georgia Southern, you try and go back to one of them right now.
Short gain of 2 yards on the completion by Buchanan. Burgess in motion. French over the middle. Tyler Fromm once again. Offensive coordinator Ryan Ablin talked about the benefits of having a tight end like Fromm to help move your offense.
He is a big old guy that can be used both ways, blocking or executing over the middle of the field. Doesn't matter if he's running a slant route, in route, he will find ways to get open.
3rd and 8. Gain of 10 from Fromm. French, pocket collapse, and he's sacked. Jaden Broughton, and now another flag on the play. Let's hear back from Stephen Robinson.
Holding. Defense, number 29. 10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So now defensive holding. Going to go on Jaden Jones, a linebacker. And first down for the Eagles.
These are those discipline moments that Coach Barry was talking about that his team needs to have. You go from getting a sack and a loss of downs to now automatically a fresh set of downs for Georgia Southern. Those cannot happen if you want to get off the field.
From the 25, French rolling far side into the red zone, runs down at the 17. That is one of the things that head coach Dennis Berry for South Carolina State said, one of the keys in order to win a certain battle, and that's the penalty battle, doesn't work out in their favor after the defensive holding call.
And as a defensive lineman, you have to just be so beside yourself saying, that's not even on me. We were able to get the sack, get the positive play. Instead, oh no, it's first down again.
So gain of 8 from French on the run, 2nd and 2. O.J. Arnold up the middle. He'll power his way through for a first down.
This is where I think if you're Georgia Southern, you try and just embrace your offensive line and say, okay, we got to keep going, keep chopping, and be able to get in the end zone and be successful. Doesn't matter if you're kicking, you have to score on this drive.
The Eagles continue to remain perfect in the red zone. 10 for 10, tied for first in all of college football. From the 14, Cobb in motion. French throws, caught! Touchdown, O.J. Arnold.
O.J. Arnold able to get that reception. J.C. French put it in a bucket. Absolutely dropping a dime over the shoulder, back shoulder catch. Nothing prettier, in my opinion, in all of college football. Able to just get an easy reception. And I'll tell you what, he was about to go all the way back up to the end zone. He went all the way up into the Ted Smith Facility Football Center.
He was going to run back to the Eagles locker room after that catch. 6 plays, 50 yards for the Eagles on the drive. J.C. French, his second touchdown pass this evening. PAT good by Gavin Stewart, and the Eagles started to create separation. 21-7 with 7 minutes to go in the half.
Watch this, the ability for O.J. Arnold to get out of the backfield, create space. Doesn't matter if he's doing it on the ground or in the air. J.C. French will find you, sir, and able to go in for a big 6. RPO running at its finest. Doesn't matter if you're running a wheel route like Arnold was, he's in the end zone, and it's 21-7.
And become champions. Putting them on the field is senior associate athletic director Ben Hart and head cheerleading coach Gary Mukasey. The alumni support the cheerleading program with donations. Championship each year. Let's have a round of applause for our Georgia Southern cheerleading legends and champions. And now, please keep your attention to the field where Gus would like you to welcome
21-7, Georgia Southern to lead. J.C. French, his second touchdown pass of the night, finding O.J. Arnold. Whitney Hayworth has more on the redshirt sophomore French.
Well, Danny, we've talked so much about J.C. French and the reason that he won the starting job, and you just see it play in and play out. And I have had the opportunity to watch a couple practices, and he's really won over the quarterback room. But the greatest thing, similar to about the wide receivers earlier, is that the quarterback camaraderie is also always there. You can see David Dallas and Dexter Williams, who competed against JC, teach him just as much as JC is teaching them. So a great group to be around, and I think the future is just bright for JC.
It is great to see that camaraderie because it was an intense battle for QB1 in the preseason between J.C. French, the Indiana transfer, Dexter Williams, and David Dallas. And the efficiency from French is what won him the job. 7 of 10, 109 yards, 2 scores, as the Bulldogs will take a knee in the end zone. So now for South Carolina State, they had some momentum in the opening quarter, got that touchdown to start the second, but the Eagles now, their offense is rolling. How can the Bulldogs offense get going here, Jared?
I think you need to get a quieter play from Eric Phoenix. While Paulson's buzzing right now, you need to get either a downfield shot or hand the ball off to either Duhart or Adams and get a big chunk play. Doesn't matter if it's maybe 10, 15 yards. You need to get a ball at least before you have to get the ball back away to on the other side of the field.
The Bulldogs winning the possession battle in the first half. And you mentioned the running game, just 24 yards on the ground. From the 25, Phoenix throws near side, has Ionaj Carter, and Carter taken down at the 35. And he will have the first down. Correction, he will be short.
While he was able to turn and try and get upfield, big hands and big grab that time from the cornerback, able to keep him away.
So Carter will be short of a yard. Second and 1. Phoenix rolling right. Will keep it. Now lets it go out of bounds. Third and 1, do you go to Duhart?
I think you have to go to Duhart, picking up the chunk change, which is exactly what he does best.
It was that 12-play drive that took almost 7 minutes off the clock that worked for the Bulldogs.
Georgia Southern stacking the box.
Duhart, nowhere to go. 8 up, led by Justin Rhodes and Latrell Bullard. How about the stop?
That's what Georgia Southern knew that SC State was going to do. Get in the box and make sure that there is no forward progress, setting up 4th down and another punt here for SC State.
Interior D-line getting the job done. Loss of 3 from Duhart there. Look at this. Josh Dallas on the punt return for the Eagles.
Be a chance for his first return.
Let that bounce. That's going to be a favorable Bulldog bounce down to the 5-yard line. How about the punt from Dyson Roberts?
Able to flip fields. That's what he's able to do best with that spinner kick instead of standard over kick.
So now a chance for the Bulldogs defense to dig deep. A phrase from head coach Shennis Berry. Whitney Hayworth has more.
Well, Danny, the Bulldogs love to dig deep, and they certainly love their acronyms, but one of their slogans for this year is to dig deep, which stands for discipline, integrity, God, whatever that might be of a higher power. Deep, dedicated effort, execution, and pride. He said you have to be able to fight through adversity and dig deep when things may not go your way.
Thanks, Whitney. First down incompletion from French, intended for Tyler Fromm. And the thing with head coach Shennis Berry is that it's more than football for him. Being at an HBCU like South Carolina State and being deeply rooted in HBCUs, coaching for 30 years, it's all about developing young men, young fathers post-college.
And that's something that he takes with pride. He's a man of faith. He said whenever our time is expired, it's about how you were able to lead those men into battle, not only on the field of play, but the field of life.
The pitch out to White. White out at the 9. There was an offsides penalty on the Bulldogs defense that brought the Eagles up for 1st and 5. A loss of 1 from White, bringing up 2nd and 6.
And if you're Georgia Southern right now, I think 2nd and short and 2nd and medium, I think you take a shot here and try and make a big splash play.
We already saw it once when French found Dallas for 58 yards. On the far side, LV Bunkley Shelton hangs on, breaks the tackle, and pushed out at the 24. A statement hit also from Diego Addison from Bulldogs.
Big ability to get out of the tackles. Doesn't matter who's guarding him. For LV Bunkley Shelton, able to turn up and say, all right, you want to try and grab me? Whoop, not today. Going to try and get up and get some positive yards after the catch.
Absorbed the hit from Britton Scott. And now French deep in the end zone, deep down the field. That's going to be pass interference. Gerard Washington covering Derwin Burns. That's a 2nd PI we've seen on Washington today.
And I think that's something that Georgia Southern's going to keep attacking after. He's one of those guys that's able to just say, okay, if you want to keep going after me, I'm going to keep trying to exploit and attack after what they feel like is one of the weaknesses of this SC State defense. But the thing is, though, with a guy like Gerard Washington, he's the field side cornerback, meaning he is by himself on an island when he's guarding a wide receiver.
And you're seeing French attack Washington on the deep ball. From the 38 on 1st down, French. Plenty of time, throws over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Dallas. Haven't seen many incompletions from French, 8 of 12 overall. Under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Jet sweep. Dalen Cobb. Tackle across the 40. So more so say touch passes. That's been the new change.
That is a pass. That is the easiest pass of J.C. French's night. Watch this. Whoop! Able to go right up and moving. You know how much skill that takes, though, to time that right for the running or for the jet man and Dalen Cobb to get that timing dead perfect. It is a pass, though, but it's the easiest one of the year.
Just a third down play for the Eagles. French. Gets 8 up, and he gets sacked. And that's one way for the Bulldogs to dig deep after 2 costly penalties, offsides and PI. The D-line gets it done.
And you saw it, French tried to fire it over the middle, but just a big-time stop. That time for Malik Richardson, the big man, a senior leader on this SC State team, able to come up with a big-time sack in the backfield.
So we'll see the punt team for the second time. Alex Smith boots it downfield. Fair catch called by Carter. And it's been the special team where you've seen the physicality create an uptick on both sides.
I'll tell you what, Marcus Samuels just got tossed. I couldn't tell who threw him. He got tossed about 15 yards after that play was done, and nobody saw it.
Well, Jared, you said that it could be a rivalry game when you're about 4 hours separated between Statesboro and Orangeburg. Or 3 to 4 hours, that is. But it just shows
depending on how fast you're driving. Yeah, of course, of course.
That just shows just the fight that the Bulldogs have in this game.
And one of the big things, too, these guys are all athletes. They want to compete. Doesn't matter who's on the other side.
Bulldogs will start from the 20. Phoenix throwing near side to Carter. Carter taken down by Cayman Mathis. 3 minutes to play in the half. A gain of 5. Eric Phoenix, a homecoming from Savannah, Georgia, 12 of 19, 124 yards. Phoenix throws, pass is caught. Justin Smith-Brown gets the first down for SC State. And that'll take us to one of the new additions to the college football season, the 2-minute timeout. 21-7, Georgia Southern. More to come after the break on ESPN+.
addition, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around state. Bites music on the patio night. I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations, and from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquess Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
You got to love the new additions to college football this season with the rules, a 2-minute timeout, just like the NFL. Also, in-helmet communication, just like the NFL, and the tablets on the sideline, really helping the college athlete get prepared for the pros.
And it really does come down to how you prepare. For that number and that logo right there, C2P, Coach to Player, that ability to not only have that, and look at that, and they say iPad kids weren't benefited. Are you kidding me? That is exactly how you use that, saying, okay, here's what you did right, here's what you did wrong, let's fix it next time. And guess what? You have 15 seconds until the play clock hits that number to talk to your coach, or from your coach to your player, saying, all right, this is what we need to see here, here, and here. Go out and do the play.
It doesn't just benefit the players, it benefits those who want to get involved in coaching in the pro level. Play resumes, a dump off to KZ Adams. Adams down the sideline, and Whitney Hayworth has more on those new additions to college football. Whitney?
Well, in regards to the C2P communication, Danny, Marquess Watson-Trent says he loves it because it allows him to start his process faster and diagnose what the offense is giving him while communicating the call. Of course, there is the downside. He said the downside is when he can't hear because of the crowd. And you know how loud it can get in Paulson Stadium.
Thanks, Whitney. A pass near side to Caden High. It is raucous in Paulson Stadium, a packed house on this Saturday night.
And where else would you rather be on a Saturday night than watching college football in the Deep South? Nothing better, in my opinion.
Is it great to be alive on a Saturday night in Paulson, or what?
Or what, my friend?
Only a gain of 1 on the pass from Phoenix to High. 2nd and 9 from midfield. Phoenix, pocket collapsing. Works his way through and sacked. A Lodge fall. Makes it 3rd down.
And for a Lodge fall, that is his first sack of the season, and it came at the temper of being efficient. Able to have Phoenix step up and get the big sack, and I think there's a timeout called on the field.
With the way the Bulldogs have ate up the clock, smart decision by the Eagles to call a timeout. Rather, it was the Bulldogs to call it a timeout. South Carolina State 1-1 in their first 2 games. As we talked about, head coach Dennis Berry said the team played for 50 minutes against Florida A&M, which led to FAMU making a comeback in the 4th quarter. But the Bulldogs bounced right back on the road at the Citadel, winning 23-20.
That was a playing for 60 minutes game. Coach Berry said we were able to go out and execute, play discipline, and play their brand of football.
Just over 90 seconds remaining in the first half. 3rd and 13 following the sack from Fall. Phoenix, pressure coming. Phoenix gets out of it. Rolling left and throws across the middle. What a pass to Caden High. That is High's 9th reception in the first half.
And for High, this is what he does. He is a scrawny but fast as heck receiver who can make men miss and be wide open as that little bit of, oh, hey, I'm still wide open. Come try and tackle me now. He was wide open, not even a man within 10 yards of him.
The potential is high for Caden High, one of the Benedict transfers brought over by head coach Dennis Berry. High actually led Benedict in receiving yards as a true freshman, as Benedict won a SIAC championship for the 2nd straight year.
And how about this? He has more receptions tonight than he has all season. Coming into this game, 9 catches for 98 yards. Now that was catch number 9. He's just on the way to getting great stats here for this contest.
One of the key receivers. Another timeout was called by SC State. Coach Barry talked about the big 3 in the receiving core that Eric Phoenix goes to. Justin Smith-Brown, Caden High, and Ionaj Carter. And out of the 3, a combined 12 receptions. High with 9 of them. Another Georgia kid from Grayson, Georgia. Out of the timeout, first down from the 37. Bulldogs driving. 7th play of the drive coming up. DeAndre Duhart back at running back to the left of Phoenix. Phoenix takes a shot to the end zone. Too far for Ionaj Carter.
Carter that time, the way the ball was thrown looked like it should have been a deep post route. Instead, Phoenix putting it more so as a dead straight. Missing him by a little bit. I thought for a second that it was going to be a pick because it looked like that ball was not even thrown to anybody near that was wearing red and white.
Yeah, it turns out that ball was overthrown. Carter broke out past the secondary. Had open space. Second down, 1:07 to go in the half. Phoenix throwing far side. Oh, what a catch! It goes out at the end, but a flag on the play. Justin Smith-Brown, the intended target.
Yeah, that's going to be a PI, pass interference call against Georgia Southern. A little bit too grabby in the air, but we're going to see what the final call is.
Defense number 12, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So rather defensive holding on the Eagles' Tracy Hill.
But that's something that defensive coordinator Brandon Bailey said that is going to be either a make or break of this defense. The ability to stay on the offensive player. It must have been before or as the ball was in the air. I'm not really seeing holding from that, but at the same time, the final official is the final word.
And it looked like Smith-Brown had it until the very end when he went down, the ball popping out. But a fresh set it down for the Bulldogs from the 27. Phoenix throws deep, incomplete. Mark Stampley breaking that one up. Pass intended for Jordan Smith.
And I'll tell you what, if you're South Carolina State, you want to score on this drive. You do not want to have an empty possession, just unable to bring the ball into his body. Jordan Smith coming up empty. But now here, under 1 minute, I want to see how SC State can play the clock and execute here with 2nd and long to go.
Yeah, with the way that Georgia Southern has been quick and efficient on offense, the Bulldogs need to go into halftime only separated by a touchdown. Play clock at 5, 2nd and 10. Phoenix, quick dump off. And tackled at the 25, Duhart with the reception.
A delayed screen, and Duhart, the safety valve on that play, had a man in motion in Ionaj Carter, but just unable to find him open in the slot.
Third and 8. Eagles in the house. Phoenix throwing deep. Stampley almost had it.
Stampley's going to be beside himself. That would have been reservations in the end zone for a touchback. And watch this, lays out, overthrown ball by a mile, and just has it fumble out of the fingers.
Bulldogs will bring out the field goal unit. Second chance for Kyle Gallegos. He missed one from 41. Dinked off the upright. The same location here, this time from 42. Gallegos, that time got it.
I think there was a timeout.
Yeah, timeout was called.
Well, we'll see if he can do it again. I think timeout was called just before the ball was snapped by Georgia Southern.
Talk about icing the kicker in the first half.
Waiting till the last possible second. But hey, if it works, it works. But now, right now, if you're Gallegos, you have to think, okay, what did I do right? What did I need to do again to repeat that same process? Dead true down the middle of the uprights. Got to go out and execute yet again. And you see he stayed on the field. He's like, okay, everybody just do exactly the same thing again and we'll be fine.
Sophomore from Fort Worth, Texas. All right, I gotta say, I love swag surfing, but gotta have some rhythm there.
I agree. The back and forth has to be better. Hey, maybe they can work on that too.
Gotta be in sync. Second chance here for Gallegos from 42 yards. Second time, missed it. This time, wide right.
He didn't get all of the ball. It was hooked a little bit to the side. And once that ball starts hooking, no shot it's going to go through the uprights.
Got to handle the Clay Helton Company. Rare to see a team ice the kicker in the first half, but given the struggles by Gallegos, a smart decision by the Eagles.
Now here's if you're Georgia Southern, why not take a shot down the field? 16 seconds, what's the worst that can happen?
And we know that French has a cannon. Instead, a handoff up the middle to Arnold. Will the Eagles get one more play off? They will not. And that will end the first half. Georgia Southern turning things up in the second quarter. Will go to the locker rooms with a 21-7 lead over SC State. J.C. French, 9 for 13, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, one to Tyler Fromm, the other to O.J. Arnold. Bulldog digging a touchdown to start the second quarter by Duhart. But the Eagles lead by 14. Whitney Hayward standing by with Eagles head coach Clay Helton.
Coach Helton, when you take a look at your team, I know offensively you like to be even in the run game and the pass game. How do you establish a better run game in the second half?
Well, right now we've scored 3 out of 5 drives, which is pretty good. We have not turned the ball over, and JC's in a great rhythm. We've been mixing in the balance of both when the numbers are there, loading the box a little bit, which you've seen some bigger plays down the field, but hopefully when they back off, we'll start handling 25-22.
You take a look at South Carolina State, Caden High doing Caden High things. How do you slow them down?
Yeah, you know, we're kind of bend but not breaking right now. We need to try to create a turnover. There hasn't been one in this game yet. You know, they've got a lot of yards and controlled the clock a lot, but only have one score to show for it. So hopefully we can get off the field and create a turnover.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
The Eagles will get the football to start the second half. Into the locker rooms, a 21-7 lead over the South Carolina State Bulldogs.
For Georgia Southern, you have to be able to carry this momentum of getting those defensive stops on your side back on the other side of the second half.
We'll talk first half stats and more after the break.
I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquess Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
Welcome to Window World. For over 20 years, our Window World and family motto has remained the same: quality, value, and trust.
Our team is the best you'll find anywhere. Great people providing exceptional service and, of course, American-made products that we proudly warranty for life.
Right now, get a house full of windows for as low as $159 per month.
Call for your free consultation today. Window World of Coastal Georgia and South Carolina.
We're here for you for life.
Monday Night Football matchup features Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, and the Falcons squaring off against Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and the Eagles. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. LePayne and Eli once again on ESPN2. Halftime inside Paulson Stadium. Georgia Southern a 21-7 lead over the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Look at other scores across the Sun Belt. Appalachian State, trouble in the first quarter against East Carolina. They fight back and win 21-19. Iowa over Troy 38-21. Old Dominion hanging in there. A 4-point game against Virginia Tech. Southern Miss 14-0. And Georgia State trying to take down the undefeated Vanderbilt Commodores. A 3-0 lead as the first quarter comes to a close.
Don't sleep on the Sun Belt Conference. It doesn't matter where they're playing. Just expect every single one of these teams to fight till the very end.
And yet I remind you, the Sun Belt, the only conference left in all of college football that still has an East and West division. We'll talk more when we come back after the break. Eagles up by 14 on ESPN+.
I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquess Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
Welcome to Window World. For over 20 years, our Window World and family motto has remained the same: quality, value, and trust.
Our team is the best you'll find anywhere. Great people providing exceptional service and, of course, American-made products that we proudly warranty for life.
Right now, get a house full of windows for as low as $159 per month.
Call for your free consultation today. Window World of Coastal Georgia and South Carolina.
We're here for you, for life.
When it comes to our finances,
We trust.
We trust.
Morris Bank.
Morris Bank.
Morris Bank.
We trust Morris Bank. See for yourself why it pays to bank blue.
The region's airport of choice is Savannah Hilton Head International. 10 airlines with unlimited options, over 30 nonstop destinations, more than 60 daily departures. And we've been voted the #1 U.S. airport 4 years in a row. Savannah Hilton Head International. All you have to decide is where to next. SAV is proud to be the official airport of Georgia Southern. Visit flysav.com.
Well, September is Suicide Prevention Month, a time to remember those that have lost their lives due to the impact of depression and other attributing factors. For more on this, we go down to Whitney, who has more.
As you just touched on, September is National Suicide Prevention Month, a time to remember the lives lost to suicide, acknowledge the millions more who have experienced suicidal thoughts, and the many individuals, families, and communities that have been impacted by suicide. It's also a time to raise awareness about suicide prevention and share messages of hope. Georgia Southern student athletes want to help spread that message.
Did you know that suicide is one of the top 9 leading causes of death for people ages 10 to 64, and the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 to 14 and 25 to 34?
Did you know that asking someone about suicide does not create suicidal thoughts?
Did you know that suicide was responsible for 49,476 deaths in 2022?
That is 1 death every 11 minutes.
Know the warning signs.
Changes of their mood, like depression, anxiety, loss of interest, and irritability.
Know the warning signs.
Changes in behavior like increased use of alcohol or drugs, withdrawal from activity, isolation, too much or too little sleep, aggression, and saying goodbye to people and prized possessions.
Know the warning signs.
If a person talks about killing themselves, hopelessness,
Having no reason to live, feeling trapped,
being a burden or unbearable pain.
Know what to do, stay calm, listen, and take concern seriously.
Know what to do.
ask directly if they are thinking of suicide or harming themselves.
Know what to do. If you or someone you know is having suicidal thoughts, don't wait. Find help. Call 911.
Have them text or call 988 for a confidential conversation with a trained professional.
In the state of Georgia, text GA to 741-741.
Georgia's Crisis and Access Line at 1-800-715-4225.
GCAL is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year to help you or someone you care for in a crisis.
If you're having suicidal thoughts, sharing your feelings is brave and
it's the first step forward in finding help. Find a person you trust that you can talk to.
You are not alone.
As a musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the Patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations, and from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
There's a science to preparing your home for hurricane season in coastal Georgia and South Carolina.
And Window World is here to help.
Our impact-rated windows and doors are tough and tested to protect your home from damaging wind, debris, and rain.
Right now, take advantage of special financing with no interest if paid in full within 15 months.
Call for your free consultation today. Window World of coastal Georgia and South Carolina.
Your local hurricane impact specialist.
When it comes to our finances,
we trust.
We trust.
Morris Bank. Morris Bank.
Morris Bank.
We trust Morris Bank.
See for yourself why it pays to bank blue.
The region's airport of choice is Savannah Hilton Head International. 10 airlines with unlimited options, over 30 nonstop destinations, more than 60 daily departures. And we've been voted the #1 U.S. airport 4 years in a row. Savannah Hilton Head International. All you have to decide is where to next. SAV is proud to be the official airport of Georgia Southern. Visit flysav.com.
ESPN Plus, 21-7 our score at the half in the prettiest little stadium in America, Paulson Stadium. Welcome inside the booth, Danny Wall, Jared Dink, Whitney Hayworth on sideline. This has been a tale of two different offenses. For South Carolina State, they've won the possession battle in terms of time of possession, but only have 7 points to show for it, while Georgia Southern had been quick on offense, making 2 quick scores in the second quarter, leading 21-7.
And for Georgia Southern, it's all about keeping that foot on the gas, being able to just say, okay, this is what you've given us. We're going to try and turn it the other way. For SC State, for the second half, you need to be able to get back to what worked, those downhill runs and being able to flip the script back into your favor.
One of the big things that Georgia Southern worked on in this game tonight is stopping the running game from South Carolina State. The Bulldogs only have 17 yards on the ground, a big difference maker for the Eagles, who's given up almost 300 yards in the first 2 games.
And for Georgia Southern on defense, those plays like that have to be taken care of. Those ability to roll out and take those big passes from Phoenix to his receiver core and guys out of the backfield. But on the offensive side for SC State, you have got to keep going with what's working, those little dink and dunk plays. And speaking of big plays, flipping the switch and turning on this entire stadium is that man, Josh Dallas. So close to scoring a touchdown, but instead being cleaned up by the running back room for Georgia Southern, as there's the score from Jalen White, his 4th on the year, and a big play to ignite this GS offense.
Look at the first half stats, 178 total yards for the Eagles, 185 for the Bulldogs. Both sides working through the air to get things going, and Georgia Southern wanted to clean things up on third downs. They haven't had to worry about third downs much, 1 of 3. South Carolina State 4 for 10. J.C. French and Eric Phoenix highly efficient in this game. No interceptions from either quarterback.
And that's one of the big things, too, that I want to see keep going is how both these teams can flip or keep what they're wanting to do right.
Georgia Southern gets the ball to start the second half. We'll get things going when we come back after the break on ESPN+.
I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
There's a science to preparing your home for hurricane season in coastal Georgia and South Carolina.
And Window World is here to help. Our impact-rated windows and doors are tough and tested to protect your home from damaging wind, debris, and rain.
Right now, take advantage of special financing with no interest if paid in full within 15 months.
Call for your free consultation today. Window World of coastal Georgia and South Carolina.
Your local hurricane impact specialist.
When it comes to our finances,
We trust.
We trust.
Morris Bank. Morris Bank.
Morris Bank.
We trust Morris Bank. See for yourself why it pays to bank blue.
Second half, moments away on ESPN Plus. Our own Whitney Hayworth got to catch up with Bulldogs head coach Chennis Berry.
Well, Danny, Coach Berry said he was very impressed with his team on both sides of the ball in the first half. He was, of course, more impressed with his defense, wants to see some progression in the second half offensively. I said, is this not the perfect opportunity for you to dig deep? And he said, absolutely. This is the perfect time to dig deep into our souls and figure out what we're made of. He said, when we get in the red zone, we have to find a way to come away with points.
Thanks, Whitney. Georgia Southern will receive to start the second half as we resume play inside Paulson Stadium. Received at the 10 by DeAndre Buchanan. Buchanan across the 30. One thing that we didn't see in that first half graphic, Jared, was the amount of penalties from each side, and right on cue, seems that we have another. Saw 5 penalties from the Bulldogs, 4 from the Eagles in the first half.
I think it might have been a late call.
During the return, legal block below the waist, kicking team number 12, 15 yards to the end of the run, automatic, first down.
So that's the 6th penalty for the Bulldogs. Jared, how does each side clean that up in the second half?
I think you just have to slow down a little bit, and you see their coach is beside himself. He's going, what are we doing right now? That is something that you're taught as even in Pee-wee football. Do not go below the belt and below the waist whenever you're trying to block at somebody. That's an inexcusable play and something that officials will see every single time.
Penalties was something that the Eagles dealt with on the road at Nevada, as Clay Helton went in extensive detail about our meetings prior to this game. So Georgia Southern will start from the 42. Empty backfield for J.C. French. Throws near side. Derwin Burgess couldn't hang on at the end.
Burgess trying to run a slant route, but got his head almost taken off on the in ball. Good play that time by Jamari Benjamin. But to finish the point on penalties, if you're SC State or Georgia Southern, if it's 3rd and short, do not commit a penalty because they know that that's going to be within distance to move the chains.
2nd down. Throw far side, complete to LV Bunkley Shelton across midfield. Those chunk plays that the Eagles want to continue to make throughout the second half. Hurry up offense. From the 43 and plus territory, French. Near side towards the sideline has Burgess at the 30. Burgess works his way through, cuts inside the 20 and taken down at the 17.
I know this is the year that NCAA football came out, but my goodness, if this was video games, watch this. He's pressing the B button right there. Where are you going, young man? I'm going to try and score.
And now DeAndre Buchanan on the screen. Tackled at the 15, and the Bulldogs, you talk about penalties, may have gotten away with a face mask there near the end.
They did. A little bit of grabbing above, but I think for Georgia Southern, you got to keep going with this. These little quick plays and make the receivers be the athletes on the play. If you're J.C. French, get it to them often.
5th play of the drive, Eagles in the red zone, remaining perfect throughout the season. Handoff. O.J. Arnold stays on his feet. Arnold, touchdown. It did not take long for the Eagles to respond to start the second half.
And for O.J. Arnold, his first touchdown of the season and a big play out of the halftime break. Correction, 2nd touchdown, I should say, of this season. And now time to come in and get that that last point. Big play, 5 plays, 60 yards almost in a minute and a half, Danny. 90 seconds, that's it.
O.J. Arnold, his first touchdown on the pass from J.C. French. 2nd touchdown on the ground. So first receiving and first rushing touchdown for Arnold as the PAT good by Gavin Stewart. 28-7, Georgia Southern. Did not take long. Less than 90 seconds for the Eagles to score.
Watch him rumble. Arnold getting the head down. Doesn't matter. The man is rumbling, stumbling, and will not be stopped. 27-8 or 28-7.
Formed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire?
Back on ESPN Plus, 5-play, 59-yard drive for Georgia Southern, capped off with the touchdown run by O.J. Arnold. Just his 3rd carry on the ground tonight, but making every touch matter for Georgia Southern.
That's what you have to do in games like this, where you're still trying to figure out that depth chart and be able to say to yourself and to your team, okay, here's what we have to do. On the opposite, for SC State, you have got to come out here and get points. It's 28-7. You cannot let this get to a 3 or 4 score lead. I'll tell you this though, for High as a receiver, he is carrying this team to try and stay in this. Yeah, there's a lot of time left and you're gonna have a bunch more back and forth, but if you're Georgia Southern, that's the guy you gotta keep focusing on.
Caden High turning up like the rest of the fans in Paulson. Even though the Bulldogs down by 21 points, Caden High has 9 of the 17 receptions by the Bulldogs receiving corps in the match. And High deep to receive as well.
It's fun to be here, man, isn't it?
Gavin Stewart set to kick this one off. We'll see how the Bulldogs respond in their first possession in the half. That is sailed into the end zone. Here's this week's Sunday night baseball matchup. It doesn't happen often, but it's the third game of a big 4-game series, the rare Monday finale, between Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and the NL West leading Dodgers, and Marcell Ozuna and the Braves, who are fighting for an NL wildcard spot. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. And even right now, in Game 2 of the series, Braves a 1-0 lead early.
They won last night, 6-2.
Think the Braves will hang on and get a wild card spot?
I think so. That's the Brian Snitker way.
From the 25, Phoenix hands off to DeAndre Duhart. Short game. Tackled at the end by Troy Pikes.
Tackle for the Eagles by number 93, Troy Pikes.
Just going nowhere for the offensive line. I haven't really seen it since about halfway through the first quarter. That offensive line try and create big holes. I want to see them try and do that more here in their first drive of the second half.
So correction, no gain on the run to Duhart, by Duhart. Pass on the outside complete by Smith Brown. Bring up 3rd and short.
That was a wide receiver in screen. You have a little bit of time if you're Eric Phoenix to get that ball out. Well, watch, as soon as that down block happens, you got to get that ball out. It's a 1-2 step drop. Smith Brown able to make some yards after catch, but it'll still be 3rd and manageable at 3rd and 4.
So after a 6-yard completion to Smith Brown, 3rd and 4 for the Bulldogs. Phoenix throws quickly, has high. Will forward progress get him the first down? It does.
It might have been by maybe an inch or 2, but that little bit of an extension by High, and I said it earlier, he is putting the team on his back trying to get these first downs. Be that it guy. Number 0 right now, number 1 for South Carolina State.
10th reception of the game for the sophomore Caden High. From the 35, Phoenix, quick throw, Smith Brown, short of the 40, pushed back by a sea of Eagles.
Justin Smith Brown.
Should say a flock of Eagles.
I was wondering when you were going to make one of those puns. Nobody like it in the business, right, Danny?
Yeah.
Good out throw, able to try and turn up, get some positive yards as Smith Brown, just trying to keep churning his legs. Eventually got thrown back, but it'll still be 2nd and medium, but that's a position that this Bulldog squad has been used to here tonight.
Trips right. Phoenix. Plenty of time in the pocket now. Throws, intercepted! Tracy Hill still going down the sideline. Hill has blockers. It's a pick 6 for Georgia Southern.
Tracy Hill Jr.
Clay Helton said it before, right in the first half, ended with Whitney. The Eagles needed a turnover in the second half, and they got one.
They got one indeed. Reservations for 6. Tracy Hill with a house call, not only from way beyond, but that is the first miscue from Eric Phoenix this season. That's his first pick, but it's a big one. A pick 6, and Georgia Southern now up, hopefully pending the PAT, 35-7. This is what Georgia Southern needed, a big splash play. Doesn't matter if it's by J.C. French in the offense. The defense said, hey, we'll do it ourselves.
2 scores in over 4 minutes here in the third. 59 yards to the house, Tracy Hill Jr.
You want to see a convoy? Watch this. As soon as that ball's picked off, you have blockers left and right. Doesn't matter where they are. They're going to say, okay, what is our goal? Score here. Hill, doesn't matter. He says, I got eyes for the end zone. I'm going to go all the way. Watch out, boys. I'm scoring. Get out of my way. I got reservations tonight. for 6.
I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb, beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
"60 yards to the house on a pick six from Tracy Hill Jr. The redshirt sophomore, Whitney Hayworth, has more on Hill.
Tracy Hill providing Coach Helton with one of his most favorite things in life. He says a non-offensive touchdown. Tracy earned the honor of wearing number 0 versus Boise State to start the season. An honor that is given out each Thursday to a Georgia Southern player that exemplifies the tough, disciplined, and united culture that Clay Helton has brought to this program. Someone who is unselfish and hardworking, and Tracy Hill is certainly one of those, working his way up the depth chart since arriving here in Statesboro.
The first pick six for the Eagles since last season against Georgia State at home. We've seen all the number zeros that's been honored for the Eagles set the tone throughout the game. Tracy Hill, we just saw in the pick six. Josh Dallas was number 0 at Nevada last week. He had the big 58-yard reception, the longest play for the Eagles this season. And how about DeMarcus Robinson on the special team, setting the tone, which is how we saw that chippiness throughout the start of the game.
They wear 0 for a reason, Danny.
How about Eric Phoenix, open field, across midfield, inside the 40, taken down inside the 35. That is the response you want for the Bulldogs if you are trying to dig deep and answer back.
Talk about number 0. How about number 7 on a quarterback option? We talked to Coach Barry about this. We're going to try and run that QB option. And look at this, saying, okay, we're going to run it ourselves.
Number 7, open field. That's Michael Vick-esque. Big gain, 40 yards downfield for the senior Eric Phoenix.
Another lefty quarterback, man.
Also a lefty quarterback. The longest play right there for South Carolina State. Right after, Duhart taken down by Bullard in the backfield.
Bullard not being fooled, able to chuck his way by 2 offensive linemen of SC State. And one of the big things that I wanted to see from Georgia Southern is how they step up after one of those big splash plays. For SC State, you get a gain of well over at least 30-plus yards, able to respond back. Georgia Southern is with a loss of yards.
They go from a 40-yard gain to a loss of 3. 2nd and 13 from the 38 for SC State. Low snap to Phoenix. Near side, caught by Enosh Carter. Taken down quickly by Chance Gamble.
One of the things I've noticed between this game for Georgia Southern and the game against Nevada is the way that they were able to make clean tackles today. You haven't seen any sloppiness. You've seen shoulder-to-shoulder tackles, wrapping their arms around the body and taking them down with speed and execution. That's something that Coach Helton said we have to do better, no miscues, and play the right way.
A big emphasis by Clay Helton and defensive coordinator Brandon Bailey. Third and 7. Pressure coming for Phoenix. Breaks out of it. And taken down inside the 30. He will be short. 4th and 5, and the way the kicking unit has gone for the Bulldogs, they may keep their offense on the field.
I think they're going to, but you just saw that time Marquez Watson-Trent getting home early and Phoenix having to do what he's done great this drive, keeping the play alive, running around, and eventually not too far off from getting that first down, but just short.
Bulldogs have already converted a 4th down earlier in the first half. KZ Adams at running back, and Phoenix will call a timeout. This is where the atmosphere inside Paulson Stadium makes it tricky for the opposition.
And Coach Barry was running to the far side official saying, hey, I need a timeout, I need a timeout, I need a timeout. And you see there, Coach Barry not happy right now with how his team has been communicating. And whenever we talk to Coach about what that means to talk to your players, you have to have it on a respect level, and then you're able to build it to the next level. Coach is a guy who says he prides himself on taking that player mentality and turning it into a coach's player mentality.
So a different setup for South Carolina State. When they went for it on 4th down, it was 4th and 2 in the red zone, and an easy handoff up the middle to DeAndre Duhart. What do you do for Eric Phoenix here on 4th and 5?
Well, something that they've been doing good is these little short plays whenever you have 2 receivers run a double screen on the inside and you'll have another receiver run a long route. It's called an Ohio spacing, and if I was SC State, I'd run that.
From the 30 on 4th down, Phoenix, pressure, rolling right, stays with it, gets the first down on his feet, out of bounds at the 21.
So that was more of an all-go. You want to create so much space on the far side of the field to where if you're a quarterback, it breaks down, you can get it with your feet yourself.
Something else that Michael Vick would do on his own.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. But watch this, when crap hits the fan, what do? You run it yourself. Phoenix has done that great. He's saying, okay, wheels don't fail me now. Just had a massive play, another one to keep the drive going, and if you're SC State, hey, what works for you is running the ball.
Drive continues for the Bulldogs from the 21, handoff up the middle. A short gain. That is Dimitri Simmons with the carry. Starting to see additional running backs get involved for the Bulldogs. So Duhart getting some rest here. We're seeing more of KZ Adams this drive. SC State officially in the red zone. 2nd down. Phoenix out of the pocket. Phoenix will keep. Breaks a tackle. Gets a block. Down the sideline. Inside the 5.
As a packed house, whenever you're on defense trying to load the box as much as possible, you're trying to keep this from happening. This is a quarterback contain that goes wrong. Phoenix saying, okay, wait. Now I got to make that one-man miss. Has the DB bite, and this time he was able to get Demontre Morris to bite instead. Moments, and I mean seconds, from scoring in the end zone instead of getting pushed from behind.
1st and goal from the 4. Duhart back at running back. Pistol formation. Duhart up the middle. Tackled by Watson-Trent. That's been the only score the Bulldogs have had an inside run to Duhart.
And it was the exact same play that scored on this, having a pistol run up the middle, and that chippiness still staying there. Watch that. Williams getting away with a little bit of extracurriculars, but didn't get called for it. That chippiness, no matter what the score is going to stay there.
All going to be about how can you play clean. We've already seen some penalties from the Bulldogs. Duhart on second down, 8 up. Be a loss. Duhart was taken down at the 5.
More chippiness, Danny.
Starting to get that fever pitch. Bulldogs, they controlled the time of possession so well in the first half. And this drive, another testament to that. 10th play coming up, over 5.5 minutes taken off the clock. And a penalty. That will make it 2nd and goal. Duhart, touchdown. 2nd of the day for DeAndre Duhart.
Duhart that time running off the guard and tackle, and that's what scored it in the first time, having the ground game get to it. And that was a very well executed drive for SC State, having that play breakdown, long rush for Phoenix, and then they stayed with what worked, getting ball on the ground, having it work. 9 plays, 75 yards. That's the way you respond after giving up a touchdown.
So the penalty was an offsides on the Eagles defense. And look at this, the Bulldogs switching kickers. This is Gavin Zimmerman on the PAT, making a change after struggles from Kyle Gallegos. 35-14, Georgia Southern still with the lead. 5:11 left to go in the third quarter.
Staying with what works, DeAndre Duhart getting his head down, didn't even get touched on that run. Big blocking from up front, 35-14. We talked about it. We'll see what happens coming up next.
Musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations, and from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
Fun-filled atmosphere inside Paulson Stadium. Eagles still lead 35-14. Family weekend. Also, Teacher Appreciation Night. For more on that, we send it down to Whitney Hayworth.
Well, each year, Danny, the college football playoff has a special week within college football, the Extra Yard for Teachers Week. And as a part of that initiative, Georgia Southern's partnership with the CFP Foundation granted 23 local teachers a $250 check today at halftime. that is crucial in the world of education to receive that kind of money to help foster the youth. I know, Jared, you and I were talking earlier, you have someone very special in your life that is a teacher that you'd love to give a shout out to.
Hi, Mom. My mom's a 2nd and 3rd grade special education teacher, Donna Dink. I know you're watching up in Pittsburgh right now. I love you, and I love what you do every day, making a difference in the lives of the youth.
Here's the return from DeAndre Buchanan, has some room, bouncing outside across the 40 at midfield. Buchanan taken down at the 40. Got to give a shout out to my mom, too, was a special needs parapro for the previous 20 years in teaching, recently transitioning into an administrative role, assistant role at a local college.
You know what I hear that is? That's a teacher. And you know what I see that is? That's another convoy there, Danny. Big hole, able to run through the right side. And you talk about just getting downhill. I thought this place was going to blow the roof off again. That would have been one of the first big plays for special teams from a receiving side tonight and this season.
J.C. French, the start from the 39. Here's Cobb. Cobb has a hole. Cobb taken down inside the 20. We almost saw another thing that head coach Clay Helton wanted to see from his team, a takeaway and almost a special teams touchdown.
Almost. You almost had the immaculate grid of 2 for 2, and now they're keeping tempo up.
Eagles in the red zone from the 19-yard line. French fakes, handoff, Buchanan. Buchanan bouncing outside, inside the 10, and a flag at the end of the play.
Holding, offense number 2, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Holding on Derwin Burgess for the Eagles, so that big play sends them 10 yards back.
One of the big things for Georgia Southern that you have to do is keep this window dressing going, having that Statue of Liberty plays and plays like this that keeps the defense guessing.
Jalen White on the carry, bouncing outside. And White does not get far, gain of about 2. So you see the penalties, an even number on both sides with 6.
But the big thing is, in that moment right there, that could have gotten you in 1st and goal. Now it puts you outside of the red zone.
2nd and 14. Look at this formation switch. Going to trips left on the outside. Screen play. Pass caught. Jalen White. Out of bounds, makes it 3rd and medium.
And that's exactly what that play is built for, to have those chunk plays, but not to be a big break. You have your defense really questioning, okay, what are we going to see here? Instead, you go trips right, and then you have down on the bottom side of the field the exact same play now. So you flip it, trips low, and single high.
3rd and 7. The Eagles 1 for 3 tonight. From the 16, French. Near side. Will that be complete to Cobb? Yes. Hangs on at the end. However, it'll bring up 4th down, and the Eagles send out the kicking unit.
I think that's the right call. While you're on 4th down, it's a little bit disappointing to have those penalties come back and bite you, but you got to at least settle for 3 points with a reliable kicker.
This will be a 29-yard field goal for Gavin Stewart. From the right hash. Stewart. No good. That is his first miss on the year. He was a perfect 3 of 3 and went 2 for 2 at Nevada last week. So now we will see the Bulldogs offense with 2:21 to go in the quarter.
That's a chip shot for Stewart. And that's just something that you got to say, okay, that happened, put it in the back of the bank's next play mentality. And I can't help but say, I feel like this is kind of not a kicker's game today.
Yeah, and here's the thing. That's the closest field goal Stewart had this season. He hit one from 31 against Boise State, 30 and 48, a career long at Nevada, but misses his first on the year. So first down for the Bulldogs from the 20. Phoenix throws far side. Pass caught by Smith Brown. He'll get the first down.
Right now, if you're SC State, you need to go, go, go. Stick with what was working. Stay on the ground, or if you want to switch it up maybe every other play, throw in a pass. You got to go and try and chip away at this deficit.
Bulldogs down, but not out. This should be a two-score game if it wasn't for the pick six from Eric Phoenix. On the handoff. Up the middle. Casey Adams on the carry that time.
One of the things I want to look at is the amount of rushes. 24 rushes for SC State, 85 total yards. But more than anybody, Phoenix, 7 rushes for 55 yards, carrying the team in the run game.
A dual threat through and through. Second and 6, under 90 seconds to go in the third. Play clock winding down. Phoenix gets it off in time. Handoff Adams. Adams tackled first by Marquez Watson Trent.
A delayed handoff. Phoenix, I thought he was going to try and do a quarterback rollout. Instead, just gives the ball up. And for Adams, just trying to stay head down. You see there, 185 yards a game, 19th in the FCS. Tonight, haven't even cracked triple digits.
Yeah, the Eagles' front six has made it difficult for the running game. That's why Eric Phoenix leads the way with 55 yards on the ground. On third down, Phoenix out of the pocket. Gets a first down and slides at the 45.
I'll tell you what, I know as a quarterback, you have the ability to see everything, but for Phoenix standing at 6'3", he's able to survey the field so well. Doesn't get pressured and crumble. That's what Coach Barry said. He is a very poised guy whenever it comes to dealing with guys coming up the middle.
The clock stopped. A player down for South Carolina State. That is offensive lineman Kanan Liggins. He's not a starter on the O-line, but he's that sixth man that comes in and gets a lot of snaps.
One of those glue guys for Coach Barry, plays a little bit of everywhere, and luckily he's able to walk off under his own power.
And that's the thing. Head coach Dennis Barry said the offense starts with the offensive line, and you've seen the Eagles' defensive line step up in those moments. Has made it so challenging for the Bulldogs to get the run game going.
He said he uses, I'll tell you what, Coach Barry may have used the most analogies I've ever heard of a coach that we've ever talked to. He said you use 5 as 1, become a fist, and that's what the team is able to do with the offensive line.
Bulldogs want to punch their way downfield, another handoff, and there's the open field for Duhart. A swarm of Eagles get to him, and that will be the last play of the third quarter. Going to the fourth in Paulson Stadium. Eagles leading 35-14. More to come after the break on ESPN+.
Musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future? How high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
When it comes to our finances,
we trust.
We trust.
Morris Bank.
Morris Bank.
Morris Bank.
We trust Morris Bank. See for yourself why it pays to bank blue.
Welcome to Window World. For over 20 years, our Window World and family motto has remained the same: quality, value, and trust.
Our team is the best you'll find anywhere. Great people providing exceptional service and, of course, American-made products that we proudly warranty for life.
Right now, get a house full of windows for as low as $159 per month.
Call for your free consultation today. Window World of Coastal Georgia and South Carolina.
We're here for you for life.
Paulson Stadium lit up Georgia's Southern blue as we're moments away from starting the fourth quarter. Look at the AP Top 10, and you see what's taking place across the college football world. I mean, the way the top 10 has shifted a little bit in the first 2 weeks, we've seen so many upsets. We saw Notre Dame lose in Northern Illinois last week. Florida State, they started the season 10th in the nation, 0-3 to start the year after the loss to Memphis, but it seems right now the college football playoff runs through the SEC with Georgia and Texas number 1 and 2.
They're number 1 for a reason, and it's called Any Given Saturday for a reason. Doesn't matter who you're playing or what their ranking is. Anyone, and I mean anyone, can be beat.
Has it been weird getting adjusted to the phrase Power 4 now as of late and seeing the way conference realignment has put teams like Oregon in the Big Ten, Texas, Oklahoma in the SEC?
Yes, but at the same time, I feel like it was necessary. You have to have that high competition playing against other teams and schools that are able to play against those same programs.
Fourth quarter underway, 2nd and 9, quick throw. Justin Smith-Brown does not get far. And you got to also add the way you have Cal and Stanford in the ACC. But with the way things developed in the last 2 days, the Pac-12 might be back.
I think it will be. There's talks of some different teams having some different alignment and a lot of things that may happen later on. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Boise State, one of the teams that Georgia Southern faced, now joining the Pac-12 in a couple of years. Gain of 1 makes it 3rd and long for the Bulldogs. Play clock at 2. Phoenix gets it off. Throws over the middle. Incomplete.
Georgia Southern brought the house and the kitchen sink on that one. Maybe a minute, maybe a second and a half, I should say, to get that ball out. Catchable football for Smith-Brown, just wasn't able to go up and high point it, and it'll force another punt.
A bit far out for the offense, the Bulldogs to go for it on 4th down. So we'll see what Dyson Roberts can do on this punt. Josh Dallas back to receiving it. not initially listed on the depth chart for punt return. It was LV, Bunkley, Shelton, and Dalen Cobb. And that sails out of bounds. Score remains 35-14. Georgia Southern gets the ball back after the break.
As a musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the Patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
Initial punt returners for Georgia Southern with LV Bunkley, Shelton, and DeAndre Buchanan as Gus joined the 35-14 Eagles lead. Highlighted by two title fights. The UFC 306 main card begins at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view with the prelims starting about an hour ago. You can tune in on ESPN News, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus to order the main card in English and Spanish. Go to espnplus.com/PPV. Georgia Southern will start this drive from the 17. Just over a minute and a half gone in the fourth quarter. French, handoff, rather play action over the middle. Incomplete. Good coverage from Jamari Benjamin.
Delayed RPO for French. Tried to make that second man miss over the middle. And for Georgia Southern, while these games are not FBS versus FCS, they still matter. All these offensive breakdowns, 38 plays, 275 yards almost. And this is the offense that Coach Helton wanted to see out of his team, no matter who the team they're playing against is.
Second down. French back to throw again. Finds Jalen White. White tripped up. Diego Addison on the tackle. This is a great test for the Eagles because next week they face a top 5 team in Ole Miss.
That's been a game that has been circled on a lot of Eagles calendars, a way to make a statement down there in the Deep South.
This is a tough schedule overall for the Eagles, a top 25 schedule in all of college football. You saw what happened in week 1 against Boise State. Then you go and face a challenging Nevada team, the longest road trip of the year, 2,600 miles, and now next week you go to Oxford.
Coach Helton is not one to shy away from a challenge.
French tripped up on 3rd and long, a 3 and out for the Bulldogs defense. So here's the schedule for Georgia Southern coming up. Ole Miss next Saturday on the SEC Network. Then it's all Sun Belt Conference play from there. The Eagles open up on the road in Atlanta at Georgia State, a familiar face in head coach Dale McGee, who was the running backs coach for Georgia Southern back in 2014-2015. McGee also took over as the interim head coach for the Eagles' first bowl game.
And that's something that everybody also knows. Nothing better than in-state hate. Georgia Southern, Georgia State. It's a great game regardless of what you're watching or whose team you're pulling for.
How about the bounce on the Alex Smith punt at the 21-yard line? Bulldogs offense makes their way back out when we come back on ESPN+.
Musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the Patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of. Take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
Back on ESPN+, this is a tremendous test for Chennis Berry and the South Carolina State Bulldogs. They have a week off following this game against the Eagles. Then they will have their home opener in Orangeburg against North Carolina A&T. And then in late October is when the MEAC play starts. October 26th against Delaware State, 5-game conference schedule. And Coach Berry wants to bring the same success he had in the SIAC, winning back-to-back championships at Benedict, to the success in the MEAC with South Carolina State.
Coach Berry told us a great story whenever he was first walking into the program doors. He said he saw the banners with all the years leading up, knowing the legacy that he has to create here at SC State under his new role.
Out of bounds on the throw by Eric Phoenix. May have gotten away from him there. And you talk about the championship success. Take one more look here on the throw by Phoenix.
I think that he ended up getting tipped by his own lineman. That sometimes happens, but that throwing motion just so normal. I think it was Eric Brown who was getting blocked back, or it was Taste who was getting brought back into the backfield. That'll alter the throw anytime.
2nd and 10. Phoenix throws near side, has Smith Brown out before the 30. We talk about the championship success at South Carolina State. 18 MEAC championships since 1974, and when he looked at the banners, Coach Berry did, he saw championships won in 1974, 94, 2004, in 2014. He believed that 2024 is going to be the Bulldogs' year.
And that is an omen, if ever. The number 4 that he loves to talk about so much, playing in groups of 4, running with 4 men, having that big 4 mentality. and he's been able to have that this season.
Is that an interception by Gamble? Yes, it is. On 3rd and 4, Chance Gamble, his first pick of the season, the second takeaway for the Eagles defense.
The numbers starting to pile up in favor of Georgia Southern. A mistimed read and a bad ball trying to go to Enosh Carter. Instead, it's going the Eagles' way.
Coach Berry can't believe it, but what a pick from Chance Gamble, the Kennesaw State transfer. Whitney Hayworth has more.
Brandon Bailey cannot talk enough about Chance Gamble and all of the work, though, he says, and all of the credit goes to Coach Safford, Chance Gamble, and Coach Safford coming over to Georgia Southern from Kennesaw State. Coach Bailey said Chance loves to play football, and I can take absolutely no credit. He said when you combine ability and desire, you get the product of someone like Chance. And he said he embodies the Georgia Southern way and the Georgia Southern culture. And you've seen that since the first day he stepped on campus. And I was able to watch the Nevada game in person last week, and I could tell Chance had that moment. The moment was going to come, and you saw it on the forced fumble by Marquez Watson-Trent at the end of the Nevada game that Chance then recovered.
Brandon Bailey also gave a lot of credit, not just to Chance Gamble, but the defensive backs coach, Darius Safford, who was a defensive backs coach at Kennesaw State, developing Gamble. So you see that 1-2 punch, that coach-to-player connection. Let a look here on the pick.
And I think what the officials are looking for is to see if this ball touched the ground. Coach Berry, very adamant, saying, hey, I don't think that was caught. Great job by our replay team there at Gata Productions. I'm not sure if that ball was secured enough. But the thing is, though, is it's going to come down to, is there irrefutable evidence to overcall the turn?
Ruling is an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down.
So the call is reversed, so it won't be a takeaway for the Eagles defense, but just a lot of credit to Chance Gamble on the coverage.
And Gamble, that's just half a step short of getting his interception that he so rightfully worked for. And instead of being a turnover, it'll be a punt.
Josh Dallas back to return again. Not expecting Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us being played in Paulson tonight.
If you play the Super Bowl, I think you deserve to be played wherever you want to be played, sir.
Well, as Kendrick said, no round twos. Here's the punt by the Bulldogs. Dallas racing back, and that will go into the end zone. You got to give credit to Dyson Roberts for some of the key punts he's had for the Bulldogs.
It's been a field flipper. That's what he's been able to do. It doesn't matter where he's punting from. He's been able to get him inside the 20 and then some every single time, putting enough English on the ball to where it hits that turf, dies, and stays right where it's supposed to be.
So the Eagles will start their possession from the 20. Under 11 minutes to go in regulation. Dallas in motion. French. Rolling right. Throws. Pass caught. Dalen Cobb.
Pass complete to Dalen Cobb. Steps out of bounds at the.
And he will be short of the first down. Be 2nd and 1. Dalen Cobb getting his 5th reception, leading the Eagles. Correction, his 4th. Jalen White on the carry. Ooh.
It's a scary play to get upended like that, but with that catch, you're just able to see right up and over, tried to hurdle, but glad that he landed a little bit more so on his back instead of on his head. But with that pass from French, he's now over that 200-yard mark at 211 now.
Continues to be so efficient and no turnovers. 2 touchdowns, no picks so far tonight. O.J. Arnold in our running back, 3rd and 1. And that was a direct snap to Arnold. He gets the first down, burst of speed. Tackled just inside, right at the 45. Another man down for the Bulldogs. Brendan Scott down on the field as you take another look from a different angle on the run by Arnold.
Looked like he got his leg taken out from under him. Just a involuntary play, no real roll up or anything like that. And obviously Coach Barry very concerned for the well-being of his players. And one of the things that Coach Barry said so much is that he is a head coach that tries to be a player's coach, but not only from a student side, but as a faith side. He knows that there is bigger things than just football, and he wants to teach his players to not only be respectful to women and to those around in power, but he knows that at the end of the day, it's more than football. And he talks so highly about Scott as he's one of those guys who's truly embraced that mentality to say, okay, let me be a leader on the field and off the field.
You see as Scott unable to put any weight on his left foot. And this goes to what head coach Trennis Berry talked about, how this is his calling, being able to make great young men. He's also said it's his ministry, providing and giving back to the community. It's really been a game where we haven't seen that many injuries, thankfully. Fresh set of downs for the Eagles after the run by O.J. Arnold, gain of 16. See French's numbers tonight. From the 45 on first down. White trucks and gets to midfield.
White looked like he got shot out of a cannon that time. You know the old-time cartoons where you have to ramp up your feet a little bit and then you just go for it? That's exactly what he did. He looked like he gave like 2 or 3 little cartoon runs and then boom, hit the hole like a truck.
I don't know why my first thought was Wile E. Coyote.
That's what I was going to get at. Wile E. Coyote or Tom and Jerry, where you got to do that.
Tom and Jerry,
go.
a good one too. White has been limited throughout the week. Suffered an ankle injury in the first quarter against Nevada. Just 8 carries tonight. Does have a touchdown. His 9th carry. Stays on his feet. And will be shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and short.
Just continuing to put his head down and carry the rock as strong as possible. Losing his helmet on the play was Settles, a backup defensive lineman for SC State. What these kind of drives are, Danny, with its score being what it is, these are, okay, time to work on your craft. Make the right reads, get the runs right, get your blocking assignments right, and pick up a first down, just like what coach is asking you to do.
And look at this, a 2 tight end set, French under center. You got Bo Johnson, Elijah Walton as tight ends. A pitch out to White. First down, taken down inside the 40. Drive continues for the Eagles.
Just what the doctor ordered, being able to figure, okay, here's what the defense has been giving us the last couple times. We're going to do a little pitch out, a little backhand flick, and able to turn it up is White. Now he's starting to get that momentum back, saying, okay, if we want to run it this way. He hasn't come off the field yet this entire drive. Coach Helton saying, okay, you want to get your reps? Here you go.
This will be the 7th play of the drive for the Eagles. Under 7 minutes to go in regulation. So White's numbers, 10 carries, 33 yards, also 2 catches. French downfield, and wow, flags everywhere. Jamari Benjamin, we talked about how French has been targeting Burgess and Benjamin. That's the third DPI call that we have seen tonight.
And that's really an unforced mistake for SC State. You talk about a team that needs to stay clean right now. That's just something that you can't have happen. Yeah, if you get beat, sometimes it's just better to throw your hands up, not bring the receiver down. That's making it even easier for those refs to make the call.
Fresh set of downs for the Eagles at the 22. That was the 7th penalty on the Bulldogs. French will keep up the middle, absorbs a hit, brings up 2nd down, Eagles in the red zone.
Another first down play for more than 4 yards. Georgia Southern has to be all smiles, especially offensive coordinator Ryan Applin, I should say, who is so content on saying, okay, if we're going to have some window dressing, let's at least make it worthwhile. And they've been doing that on those trick plays, those little hook passes, even the end arounds that have gone for big plays.
2nd and 5. French will keep again, rolling right, and slides at the end. And there is a late hit. Adonis Davis Jr., the redshirt sophomore.
They're going to pick it up. They're going to deem it as not a slidable tackle to where the quarterback has already given up. And that's kind of rare to see, sometimes them picking up those plays, but it looked like at that same moment, it's a matter of view from the officials. As soon as he goes right there, not leaning as hard, but still, when he lays down, the quarterback is deemed as helpless.
Yeah, notice at the end, able to get his head up at the last second. French will keep on 3rd down, and he gets the 1st down. J.C. French sticking to it on his feet.
I'll tell you what, J.C. French is taking a page out of Eric Phoenix's playbook, saying, fine, I'll do it myself. You want to run it on one side, I'll run it the same way. Pocket collapses, able to get out, and that's again talking about the maneuverability. This time not laying down, saying, fine, give me the 1st down and then some.
1st and 10 from the 11th. That was French's 7th carry tonight. Approaching 5 minutes to go in the game. Eagles maintain a 3-score lead. Pitch out. White. Went out of bounds at the 7. We haven't seen many long drives from the Eagles, but now Georgia Southern starting to get things going. That was the 10th play of this drive.
And this is something that if you're in practice for Coach Clay Helton and on offense, Coach Applin, you're able to go back and watch these these drives on film, saying, okay, what do we got to do? Have the window dressing again and still try and execute.
All right, so look at this. This is what they call the jumbo package. A couple of extra linemen coming in. French under center. White inside the 5. Brings up 3rd and short.
That's the same play they scored on earlier, having Caleb Cook drop back as soon as the motion starts and be able to be that big fullback trying to wreak havoc up the middle.
It's just great seeing Caleb Cook back out on the field for the Eagles. Suffered a season-ending injury early last year against UAB. The redshirt junior from Brunswick, Georgia, wants to help the Eagles remain perfect in the red zone. Clock winding down. And a timeout called with 3:37 to go. 3rd and 4 coming up after the break on ESPN Plus. The Eagles lead 35-14.
As a musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations, and from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
Back on ESPN Plus, a look at Eric Phoenix for South Carolina State and J.C. French for Georgia Southern. Both have thrown over 200 yards, but the one slip up for Phoenix was the pick six to Tracy Hill. And which is unique because the Bulldogs have been more balanced their first two games, but relying heavily on the pass. 24 for 38 for Phoenix.
And something else you have to realize is without that turnover, this game is even.
3rd and 4. And David Badinga gets his first carry. Got tripped up at the end. It will be 4th and short.
And I say even solely based on, if you look at the team comparisons, it's maybe 15 yards different in every category. Total yards, passing, rushing, everything is neck and neck for both these squads.
Gotta love this. The Eagles offense staying out on the field on 4th and 1 at the 2-yard line. So you might see a little touch push here.
I don't see why you wouldn't, but I think they're going to let the clock run out, though, and try and talk it back over again.
This late in the game, the timeout called, 2:52 remaining. You want to put a ribbon on this game late to seal the deal.
I'll tell you what, though, if I'm Gavin Stewart as a kicker, you know what I want to do? I want to get some redemption and go out here and get a chip shot field goal for missing that earlier one.
This would be a 19-yard chip shot for Stewart. But overall, Georgia Southern has just proven to be one of the best teams at home in the prettiest little stadium in America in Paulson. Top 5, you see the likes of Alabama, Boise State, who kind of spoiled that in week 1, winning the opening matchup, and Oklahoma and Marshall in the mix as well entering this week.
Those are some legendary programs with some legendary histories. And if you're talking about having Georgia Southern in the likes of Bryant-Denny Stadium in Alabama, that is something that is saying, okay, if you're able to have that much of a home field advantage, you physically cannot come in here and try and impose your will without paying the price.
Out of the timeout. On 4th down, White gets in the end zone. Touchdown, Eagles. The second touchdown on the night for the 5th-year senior White.
And the 5th-year senior now has his 5th touchdown of the season. And we saw him, and Coach Helton said, all right, you want to get used this? drive, here you go. Here's your as many drives as you, or as many rushes as you want to get. Now the score just trying to keep going in Georgia Southern's favor.
Look at this, 13 plays, 80 yards downfield, over 8 minutes taken off the clock. PAT good by Gavin Stewart. Georgia Southern, a 42-14 lead over the Bulldogs.
And you talked about putting a bow on that drive, is being able to capitalize with that touchdown. Doesn't matter who is getting the ball right now for the Eagles. For this time, it's White running off of the pulling wide receiver that time. Big block, able to get it, and a touchdown yet again for Georgia Southern, this time via the ground game.
See, I was looking right here, number 84, J.P. Michael, the tight end, making a key block, the redshirt freshman, leading the way for Jalen White into the end zone. So while this is not the outcome that South Carolina State wanted, or head coach Shannis Berry wanted, it is a great test going forward, because he talked about standing on the shoulders of giants, wanting to bring that success and continue that excellence in place of Buddy Pugh, who recently retired last season.
How about this? 22 years at the helm for SC State, a record of 151 wins at the helm for the Bulldogs. Big shoes to fill, but if it's any testament to what Coach has been able to have in the past at Benedict, he has that much and then some going forward at SC State at the helm.
Whitney Hayworth has more on SC State.
Well, it was so great to hear Coach Berry rave about those that came before him. He had just left a quarterback club meeting when we spoke to him earlier this week, and he said, they talk to me all the time. They're just a phone call away. They always have great advice. One of the best things that he's been told by Coach Pugh and Coach Jeffries is that he said they shared with him, is you have the pen, go write your own story. And I think it's safe to say, Danny and Jared, when we spoke to him earlier this week, there's so many stories that we know will be written for the South Carolina State program under Coach Berry.
Thanks, Whitney, and there'll be a chance for the Bulldogs to finish the story in MEAC play when it starts in late October. First down from the 25 for SC State. Handoff up the middle, and nowhere to go for the Bulldogs running back. New quarterback in Ryan Stubblefield, a junior from Houston, Texas, a transfer from Infinite Word. So with that, Eric Phoenix's night is done. 206 yards in the air, 24 for 38. Also seeing a different running back in the game in Dimitri Simmons. Simmons, another carry, taken down at the 28. Brings up third down. And that will take us to our 2-minute timeout. Georgia Southern looks to finish things off when we come back, leading 42-14 on ESPN+.
As a musician, I performed in many rooms and restaurants around Statesboro. Even before I started playing at Bites Music on the patio nights, I was a regular. The friendly staff, family atmosphere, and mouth-watering food makes Bites not just another venue, but another home. If you're looking for a taste of genuine Southern hospitality, this is the place to be. At Bites, it's always love at first bite.
When you imagine your future, how high do you aspire? If you were surrounded by innovators, mentors, how much could you achieve? At Georgia Southern University, you'll spread your wings, set a course to places you've only dreamed of, take flight and climb beyond expectations, beyond limitations. And from there, anywhere. Soar higher, soar further, soar beyond.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Here at Schumann Farms, we pride ourselves on finding new ways to get consumers to eat more sweet onions. That's where our tailgate linebacker, Marquez Watson-Trent, comes in.
That's a weak burger. You know you need a Schumann Farms sweet onion.
Game day sales of sweet onions have risen over 80%.
Now you know you need Schumann Farms sweet onions.
Hey, Mar.
Hey, Miss Angela.
This is the hardest hitting campaign we've had yet.
Well, Jared, you said any given Saturday more for the Georgia Bulldogs. Looking at the scores around the Sun Belt Conference, Georgia State 15-10 over Vanderbilt midway through the third quarter. Old Dominion was close earlier in the game against Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech leading 37-10. And that's unique right there between Vanderbilt and Virginia Tech. Vanderbilt beat the Hokies in week 1 of the year at home.
Can I say it again? Any given Saturday?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's playing who. It's the ability to go out and play competitive football. And everybody waits for it. They say, okay, we're tired of playing player on player in those pre-games, in the preseason, in those one-on-one meetings. It's how you can play against anybody who comes into your building.
Some more scores across college football. This 3rd down and 6. Pass is batted down. Good job there by the Eagles defense. The Eagles next week take on Ole Miss, and it seems like the Rebels, as of right now, could remain unbeaten, leading 23-6 over Wake Forest. And we saw with a field goal lead for Georgia. It's 3-3 against Kentucky in the first half. DeAndre Buchanan back to receive the punt. Dyson Roberts, he has been busy, but has had some tremendous bounces in special teams. And that one inward. And will be called at the 39. Nothing left for the Eagles to do to run this ball out, run the clock out, I should say, with a 28-point lead. And look at this. J.C. French done for the night. We will see Dexter Williams for the first time this season. Williams, the transfer from Indiana, was in the running for the starting quarterback role alongside J.C. French and David Dallas. But Williams, homegrown kid from the state of Georgia from Macon. First appearance on the year. We'll also see David Badinga at running back again. He gets his second carry, bounces outside, and gets wrapped up at the line of scrimmage.
And what this is right now is a testament to all those summer days working and making sure that your craft is up to par. Coach Helton knows what it's like to lead at the highest level, and this is a testament to his guys who have been working in the trenches and working their butts off in the offseason. And now you're able to get some reps in a game that means the most to you, saying, hey, I've made it to Division I football.
Some valuable reps here for Williams, who had limited action the last couple of years at Indiana. Did not play last year, was redshirted, only appeared in 4 games 2 years ago. Oh, good breakthrough from Badinga across midfield. Runs out at the 42.
I love that. It doesn't matter what the score is. If you're Badinga saying, get out of my way, number 21, running through. And he's another guy that had a little bit less of a sample size coming into this game. 4 rushes for 14 yards, and now able to get his fingerprints over it. That time for his 4th rush here in the game.
A 19-yard gain there for Badinga. And now the Eagles will take a knee. Victory formation as Williams takes a knee on first down. One more should do it for Georgia Southern.
A great head coach once said, if you can end the game in a knee, you've won in every facet possible. And that's what Georgia Southern's able to do tonight. Great win for the Eagles, and now it'll be a big test on the road against Ole Miss next week.
On all three facets, offense, defense, and special teams, Georgia Southern now has some momentum. Second straight win, and now they turn their sights to Ole Miss for a big-time SEC battle against a top-5 team in the country. Valiant effort from South Carolina State. Did not make it easy, controlling the time of possession battle, but Georgia Southern, a 42-14 win over the SC State Bulldogs.
I said it earlier, as soon as Josh Dallas caught that football, the flip of the switch, and ever since that moment, it was Georgia Southern hail all the way. Just to keep going that way and go all the way down, score drive after drive. Doesn't matter if you make a miscue, next play mentality. Going complete, all gas, no brakes for the Eagles. And Coach Barry saying, okay, that's what we had to learn. And he said that exact same thing to us too, saying, okay, if this is what we have to do, play a great Georgia Southern team and learn those lessons, that's what it ends up being, is, okay, keep playing, keep getting better, and get going in the opposite direction.
South Carolina State starting the first 3 games on the road. They will get a much-needed break, taking next week off, and then we'll have their home opener on the 28th against North Carolina A&T. Another high-efficiency game for J.C. French, 17-23, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had one to O.J. Arnold, another to Tyler Fromm. Fromm finishes with 4 catches, 35 yards. Jalen White on the ground, 13 carries, 41 yards, 2 scores. O.J. Arnold, along with his first receiving touchdown on the year, first rushing touchdown on the year. And our own Whitney Hayworth is standing by with J.C. French.
J.C. 17-23 tonight, 2 touchdowns on the night. Offensively for you, what has been working the last 3 games?
Yeah, really just getting my playmakers the ball is basically what I've been trying to do, and it's been working out pretty well for us. So really proud of my guys tonight. I think they did a really good job.
When you talk about playmakers, Tyler Fromm gets in the end zone for his first touchdown as an Eagle. Josh Dallas with a huge catch. What does it mean to be able to have weapons like them out there?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it just makes my job easy, like I've been saying every week. And they put in the work like we all do during the week, and it just shows on Saturday night.
When you look at the other side of the ball, one of the best things that Coach Helton can say happens in life, a non-offensive touchdown pick 6 by Tracy Hill. You're someone who gets to see all the hard work he puts in, so to be rewarded like that, how important is that?
Yeah, it's great. It just shows, you put your resume on tape. What you do during the week is what happens on Saturday, so I'm super proud for them and super glad they got that pick 6.
Well, JC, congratulations. Go sing your alma mater.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A big offensive night for Georgia Southern, and the takeaway, a pick 6 by Tracy Hill, leading the way overall. A great night for Eagle Nation, a 42-14 win.
Just a great overall win. All 3 facets of the game on display for the Eagles. Something that Coach Helton is going to be able to say, look, gentlemen, this is how we were able to play the game right, play to win. You had some big offensive plays, some big highlights, like the pick 6 there, reservations. And that, I think, was the big turning point, saying, okay, Eagles, time to turn it up and take it to the next level. And from there, it was smooth sailing for the Eagles.
The Eagles will get well-deserved rest before turning their sights to Ole Miss next Saturday. So for Jared Dink and Whitney Hayworth, our producer Byron App, technical director Noah Harper, graphics operator Garrett Fisher, plug operator Brian Martin, associate producer Hunter Mosley, assistant director Megan Wright, and the rest of our tremendous Gator Productions crew, I'm Danny Wall saying so long from the prettiest little stadium in America. Final score, Georgia Southern 42-14 over SC State. All games airing on the ESPN networks or streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.